Marshmallows versus the team with no mascot, but oof, are they a big name. BDS versus MNM. I don't want either of them to go. I like both of them, Demo and Ollie. I'm sad. But this is what happens in Siege when we're in the lower bracket, right?
It is. Well, this is what happens today as well, because we've said goodbye to a lot of good teams today.
No.
Said goodbye to Liquid a little bit earlier on. BDS, of course, knocking them out. I think today we've had some really difficult fixtures because these are teams that we really enjoy watching.
Well, Dave, my goodness.
It's been a rough old time. We're going to be saying goodbye to another one right here and now.
Sending them home, yes, but let's get into this showdown right now. EU versus EU. And Ollie, actually, the last time these teams saw each other, not pretty for MNM, unfortunately.
It wasn't. It was a while ago. It was in the EU finals. So obviously these two teams coming out of Europe play each other in the European League on a regular basis. So they know each other, and you know, we've all seen how that's worked for certain teams throughout this tournament, going up and choosing to go up against their home region. We have another EU battle here on our hands. And I honestly feel like this one, it's kind of the veterans versus the up-and-comers.
Yeah, no, valid point there. Why don't we start off with MNM? We have them up on the screen right now. Demo, heartbreaking loss for them yesterday. OXG just snapping that winning streak. How do you recalibrate after that? I mean, they seemed deflated, completely lost after that.
I wouldn't say they were completely lost, because again, it's one of those really close series where it could have went MNM's way. So it could have been a lot worse. It's different if you're going in, getting 7-0, 7-1 like other teams that have been in this competition, not anymore. But certainly, you can still take positives from what happened to them yesterday. Yeah. This has been the first loss that they've had at SI. And I always talk about, you know, the ball theory, where if you throw a ball on the ground, it needs to bounce straight back up. That is the mental off a good ball. And in this context, the mental off a good team is how they can respond. So MNM, it's all about the bounce back. It's all about seeing if they can respond and come out with a big performance like other teams have done.
I like the positivity. Let's see if they can bounce back. But BDS, Ollie, I mean, this is a really tough draw. We're talking BDS.
BDS is the nail on the floor where you bounce the ball and it pierces.
Oh dear.
Maybe
Real talk. Sorry, Demo, but yeah.
And BDS is going to be a big old rock in the road here for MNM, especially given the way they played this morning against Liquid.
Yeah.
Because it was a team performance. We commented on that at the time, but there was one player that didn't show up. And I reckon there's one player that's probably spent an hour or two in aim labs getting his aim back on track. And that player is going to be Shaiko, because he has to show up here and now. His team carried him through the first game of the day, through that Liquid game, and I'm sure that we're going to see him firing on all cylinders now, back for a little bit of a revenge tour. It could just be MNM that face the full wrath of BDS right now.
Yeah, Demo, it's kind of funny because we're always like, Shaiko show, but we were both going nuts about Renshiro. Renshiro was like slamming the table, screaming and yelling. When I watch him, usually he's so composed. So, I mean, like, they're bringing the enthusiasm.
Yeah, Renshi, you seen him, he was up for it, And the thing is, I showed Jackie the clip whenever Renshi I mean, it was as if he was going to flip the table, and she goes, "Oh, he's so cute." Like, how does that make any sense? Like,
I loved how fired up he was, because for me, while watching him here at SI, he's always seemed so serious, you know, and just so laser
He's a quiet guy. He's a gentle giant.
Yeah.
That's the way we like to view him. He's very quiet, keeps to himself, but he lets his work do his, you know, his talking for him. But yeah, the only thing that I do worry about for MNM in this game is that BDS have already had a game today. And I'm a big believer that if you've already had 2 games in the day, and if you've came off the win of your first one, you're going to be fired up. I think you're going to almost use that as a big, massive warm-up that they had. So I think BDS, just because they have played already today, I think they'll be a lot more hot.
The flip side of that is that teams are struggling to get scrims now, because teams are going home, teams are getting further on into the competition, and scrim partners are becoming...
You only scrim so many NA Tier 3 teams.
They're becoming fewer and further between. So it is getting a little bit difficult now for teams to find games, to find those good warm-up opportunities, and BDS, they had the best one possible this morning. So you've got to hope that MNM have been able to get their reps in as well ahead of this one.
So, surprise, surprise, y'all aren't the coaches. But I always like to ask, what do you think the teams are saying to each other right now? I mean, it's not a joke. Elimination is on the line right now. And BDS is a huge foe. What do you think MNM is saying to each other?
I think MNM's probably the more difficult one to answer because they haven't really been in this position before. They're looking at going and playing on the main stage, which I know is going to be a big deal for some of those players. You've obviously got players like Nello that have been there and done that in similar circumstances. But then you look at some of the younger players on the side, you look at your users, you look at your Tyrant. They haven't experienced that yet. They haven't experienced a big stage. And that's obviously going to be in the back of their minds that they want to get to that. But putting that aside, focusing on the game at hand, MNM have got the ability here to go out and take this one. And I think they've just got to stick to their own siege. Don't get dragged in to the way that BDS want to play.
It's winnable. It is 100% winnable for MNM. They've proven that before inside of Stage 1, Stage 2, and Stage 3, where they beat BDS every single time. Of course, best of ones, I'm aware of that. Best of threes is completely different, and we've seen that during the EUL finals, but also keep in mind that was the BDS who just that hot streak carrying on from the major. I would say there wouldn't be any team in the world that would have beat them in that matchup, just the way BDS have been. But again, BDS, we've seen they haven't been at their best. They have not been at the best of where they should be, whereas MNM have exceeded our expectations.
True.
And again, for MNM, if they can just tap into that gear that they were playing at in every other match, why can't they win? Why can't they?
I love the positivity. Well, we got to get this thing rolling here, and we are ready for map bans. We're working to get that information up on the screen right now. Ollie, thoughts?
Oh my goodness.
Okay. So we're going to head to a border.
Why have we went border?
Honestly, I'm glad that we've gone to border because that just means that it's going to be, people say that border, I've heard the joke. I disagree. I think this game between these two opponents is going to be fantastic on border. It really suits a border. Both teams have it as a map that they're willing to go to. Both teams have played it so far throughout this competition. BDS, interestingly, have lost it twice.
It's been bad for BDS.
They lost it against CAG and against Oxygen. MNM on the flip side of things, they were successful here against Direwolves. Take that for what you will at this point in the competition.
I think for BDS, it's always going to be tricky. I think MNM's map pool is really good. They can play a variety of maps. You're always going to have to ban Chalet against them, no matter what. That's what every team has to do against MNM. Or you play them at Chalet and then you lose and you understand why you need to ban it. The Villa ban, it's a good map for MNM, not as much of a map for BDS, so I think they've probably looked at it and say, hey, let's take away one of our weaker maps, but then that leaves the border open, and it's not been a strong map for BDS. It hasn't been for a while. I think back to Stage 3 in Week 1 against Team Secret, they won 8-6 against a new Secret side that, again, you'd expect better from that. I think MNM, looking at the Skyscraper decider, they'll be rubbing their hands in glee, because that is one of their best maps.
Well, it's a map that we know that BDS have struggled on in the past. It's a map that a lot of teams will go out there and struggle on. MNM, they're starting off on the, I believe they're going to be starting off on the attacking side on the Skyscraper if we should get that far. But
I think it's coin flip whenever we get to it, if we get
yeah, potentially. I mean, the Kafe is the rock in the road. We're already talking about this going to 3 maps.
I know.
Because that's what we both expect here. But the Kafe, for me, that again is a whole nother ball game. You start thinking about a team like BDS on a map like Kafe. It's not a map that they have, it's a map that they've played twice so far. It's not a map that they have actually lost yet here inside of the competition. They've been successful against both Wolves and Astralis here on this map. Kafe suits BDS to a T. You think about the coordination, you think about some of that team play that they're able to execute on there. You've got devastating entries going in. I see all 3 maps here, Jackie.
Okay, well, all 3 maps, and what's your prediction?
I gave you all 3 maps.
I know, but for who?
Both of them can go through for me.
Stop it.
We're not getting an extra seat at the table.
No. I'm making you pick one.
I'm going to stay true. I'm going to say MNM because I know that Demo is going to go with his mind instead of his heart.
Okay. What does that mean you're picking?
My mind says BDS. My heart says MNM.
Oh.
And
can we pick both?
It's why you just told me no.
It's a difficult one for me. It's yeah.
I'll stay true to MNM.
Okay, well, let's see what happens. Will our Marshmallows survive, or will BDS stay alive? We shall see. Blue and Stokes, take it away.
Thanks very much, Jackie. Final matchup of the day here on the Bravo stream. Getting ready to rock and roll here as we've got MNM up against BDS and EU Derby to potentially decide another slot moving forward here into our lower bracket. Unfortunately, one team can continue. The other one is going to be heading home. Which team that will be, of course, we have to play out this series to find things out. Going to be a bit chaotic as we get things started as we're going to head on to Border for our opening map. Stokes, what's your opening take on things as we get ready to jump into that first map?
A lot of fun to be had. Really excited to see Uses up against you know, Shaiko. Going to be a lot of fun in between these two. MNM, we haven't been able to cast them personally just so far this tournament, but it's been their best tournament that we've ever seen out of them. So extremely excited to see what they can get done, especially up against a squad like BDS, who just beat Liquid earlier today. So it's going to be long into the night for BDS, burning the candle at both ends. We'll see if we can get that same energy that we had out of Renshiro earlier today as well.
Yeah, I was going crazy on the broadcast earlier. Tune in. We had one clip from him. Man was screaming after a round clutch that he managed to pull off.
Like a banshee.
Yeah.
Well.
It was interesting. But hopefully we get a little bit more of that energy. Might be a little late in the day now to get that out of him.
Alems, don't look at me like that. Hey, you stop it right now. Okay? I'm getting a little flustered over here. Somebody let my fiance know. I'll get in trouble. She's upstairs. She'll kick me right in the face, I swear.
Just waiting on a few of the players from MNM to join up the server. As soon as we got them in the lobby, we should be good to get things started, folks. So stick with us here for just a few moments. We'll continue kind of talking about things in the pregame. MNM, of course, rebounding now from their very unfortunate loss to Oxygen yesterday. 2-0, but didn't necessarily look that way when you take a peek at the actual map score lines, as we had to go for a full 15 rounds in both of those maps. MNM so close to coming out of the clutch both times, but just unable to find that repetitive success. Always staying neck and neck with OXG, and as a result, faltering in that final round, costing them the overall map both times. Not the best feeling to leave with yesterday, but that was a long time back now. They've had plenty of time to reset, refocus themselves, and prepare for this matchup, especially so considering it's an inter-regional play for this one, so they should have plenty of experience against BDS and have a pretty good idea of what to expect up against them. Not necessarily meaning that it's going to translate into success, however. They are also going to be on the attacking side to start things out. But it is time, ladies and gentlemen, to get started. As you can see the players fist bumping now. Let's dive into it and see if indeed MNM can survive or if BDS will move on. They've got the community vote in their corner with about a 2-1 split on that vote. Let's see if you guys at home end up being right, as the bands are going live right now.
Well, MNM have been more dynamic across their scoreboard when it comes to the frag department as well as the team play. As for BDS, it's been a little bit more top-heavy. Shaiko, the currently the third best player in the entirety of the tournament, and behind the likes of Newers as well as Spoit. Fantastic tournament so far for all three of those players, but now we'll see if it comes to a head for BDS. Can Alems especially pick up his play up against MNM here? We'll just have to see. Could be Shaiko putting on his best version of the Grim Reaper that sends MNM to their demise here too. Osa and Nook going to be removed here for the offensive side. Defensively, it's going to be Azami to start us off.
No surprises on the Azami pick. She's been the first of the litter for a large majority of these games, and specifically for Border, once more has that capability to play into security. Just a bit too advanced of a position for teams to take down from time to time. So she's going to be knocked out. The second man, obviously, previously to this tournament would have been perfectly normal to see, but as far as this tournament is concerned, it's a bit of a rare sight as the Mira ban is actually going to come forward. That leaves both the Solus as well as the Valkyrie in play for BDS and MNM when we swap sides. Just not wanting to deal with those potential harsh angles that the Mira window can set up. They're okay to take the challenge from some of the other operators instead. Overall, just kind of giving the free roaming operators the capability to do that and denying more of the kind of setup ones here with the bans.
Well, Shaiko going to be playing Alibi. This is his most played operator of the entire tournament, so probably be seeing this one quite often throughout this series. Frost will be working her way in as well, and why not? There's a decent amount of windows that play into Armory's play style when it comes down to it. Different ways for MNM to try and get some access to the building immediately. And over on the MNM side of things, they've gotten at least a couple of pressure points they want to try and apply themselves towards. And that's where Zero and the Flores come in with those Rotero drones.
Aside from that, though, everything is going to proceed as expected. The defense not throwing out any huge curveballs here, though certainly BDS having their own flair to things with the way that they are going to choose to defend this site. I think we'll see once again the usual extension into security there. Taken at the moment by Shaiko. So with the big key piece player here looking to delay the eventual take from MNM. try to, of course, potentially pick off a few kills in the process, too. They're going to immediately move in the Argus cam here to try to spot out Shaiko's position specifically. Don't believe he's gotten the immediate counter onto that camera, so the intel will be good. A lot more presets going to end up going down here, too. So there we go. Dave has the spot. But can MNM follow through with an execute? Going to be a few seconds here, but nope, the nade lineup from below should strike true, and indeed it does. Nicely hunted as Shaiko goes down without ever spotting a member of the enemy team.
That's only 50 seconds off the clock as well. MNM not even needing an engagement to make that happen. Kafe feeling as though he might be able to influence this position on the balcony, but chooses to rotate back towards office. BDS have to try and get this figured out now. Down a man, and quite an important one as well. Kafe, he'll rotate in to try and assist Renshiro with the security position. MNM doing their damnedest to try and get some extra info for these positions. Able to get a ping. Another nade underneath Renshiro. He tries to don the mantle that we saw from Shaiko inside of security. He meets the same demise.
Phone call is out. We'll reveal the remaining 3 players' positions as Solotov and the rest of MNM attempt to get into position to execute against these players. Kafe trying to challenge from the exterior door of office, though. Won't be finding much from that particular position. The Pterodrone scares him off deeper into a bit of a bunker spot, as the remaining 2 other defenders are also waiting deeper into that site now, just kind of letting M&M waste out as much time as possible to set things up. And then we'll just be ready for the actual counter on the site deployment. A little spot there from Nello. Just going for the soft breach right now on the main walls. Part of it was left soft. Spotted out that goo mine. He's not going to get tripped up by that. When they end up walking forward here, M&M, of course, with the control of the break room for pretty much the entire round ever since scoring the opening kill against Shaiko, but haven't really been able to use it to bully out any of the additional presence. We still have BDS poking forward from their office hold, and that seems to be causing some hesitation for MNM as that player has now reached the front balcony here. Uses, though, jumps directly in, quickly executes in to take out that player. Alems also to fall, leaving just Bride in the 1v5. Perfectly played so far by MNM, and it's going to stay that way throughout the rest of the round as they lock in a flawless for the first play here.
Incredible patience from MNM there. Don't worry, I got it. Good job, guys. We absolutely screwed over BDS. Amazing, flawless round. Let's try and keep in control of this. You're welcome. I know. MNM, though, all things considered, fantastic way that they broke down that round there, John. Love the way that they really backed up all of their plays with the influence from info. Discovering things in security and not dealing with it head on. Not being bullheadish about things, right? They don't have to aggressively try and get people in the building. Instead, they can go to the portion of the map that BDS has already gifted over to them and work it that way. And that's exactly what they do. 2 big frag grenades from down low. And like the second one, a really big surprise as well, because we had the zero utility coming in as well. A lot of different things Renshiro could have done with that, but just not able to really suss it out. And some really, really big plays coming because of that.
Shotgun out here as well for the Solus. This will be fun to see how Kafe tries to use it specifically for this round. I'm already, of course, seeing him do a little bit of the reconstruction work there. But later into it, that's when we'll see him come out to play in a much bigger fashion, I do believe. As MNM begin their own clear here. Approaching the south balcony first. Not gonna be the first point of contention, though. Shaiko once again with some intel to play into, but yeah, unfortunately the railing down there on the balcony blocks off any potential winning angle. He would have had to pick up the kill. Nave stays safe, even though he's spotted out by that pre-fire. The rest of the team moving into East Main, quickly taking some map control for themselves, but now where do they go from here? That's the next big question, as there is a bit of a crunch waiting down below from BDS. Shaiko as well here. Oh, missing an opportunity, but corrects himself upon it. Quickly he's able to take down Solotov. This time he'll strike first, eliminating the first attacker from MNM.
Tyrant not feeling as though he can try and get that refrag onto Shaiko from his position. No move from the Eastern player after his teammate goes down right next to him. MNM, no real map control past that position, trying to get some things going for the office side. That's where these X-Kyr also come into play. Some frag grenades out as well, and Tyrant actually going to clean up EFAC all the way in the bellows of 90. Shaiko with a nice play via impacts here. So he'll take down one for his own name. That's 2 big players off the board now. The ace gone as well as Solid's up.
BDS trying to line himself up for a bit of an aggressive swing to get some revenge here. A loss like a fact earlier, but not going to be able to justify the aggressive play, especially now that we're boiling down to that final minute and a half here. I feel that they have done the job necessary to waste out the time up top here. And so we'll work on opening up the rest of the real estate that has not been cracked open for the push just as of yet here. Like we said, even though they're going to be wasting time opening up these walls and whatnot, most of the defensive setup that was up here has already rotated back down. They've got an alternate horizontal cross now for Jail, so that will need to be the focus for the clear on MNM, or they can just outright ignore that and go for the site. Since they do have top-down control here, should be a decent amount of time to try and establish better angles, but being down a player, it's tough to justify that aggressive swing, and that's the struggle that MNM are working with right now, is how do we get ourselves into a winning position? Can we find this free pick to try and equalize things? And so far the answer is no.
And that verticality not even going to be of that much use to them either if they do position themselves there. Don't have the means to break that up unless you just want to spam a bunch of DMR rounds in. Nello going to get decapitated from BDS. Look like he may have the entry point there, but obviously sussed out by the defense. Masterfully done so far from BDS. All set up by Shaiko's efforts up top. Nice shot there from Tyrant, but immediately refragged from Renshiro. Bodies down, bodies on for Uzus. So he'll move his way in, be able to at least clean up one. Does not have case control, has to throw himself over towards jungle, and Renshiro, and the likes of BDS, will shut it down and get their first round.
BDS with a quick response to things after we see a nice statement made by MNM on the attack. BDS in the meanwhile here, able to find an appropriate response to it on round 2. Shaiko, this time not immediately knocked out by that nade, is able to weigh his own aggression out, and obviously, well, he does get traded. The rest of the team stacks themselves forward, able to split up the numbers for MNM, leave them wounded as they get down to that final minute, and just with not enough firepower to work their way into the site. With the 1-1 exchange, we go back upstairs for BDS's second attempt of this locker hold, and we'll just have to wait and see if they will find success. For the most part, same type of setup going to be deployed towards it. A few operator changes coming in, the most notably, I believe, a Lems, bringing the Mozzie into this one to die a little bit more intel. Got those frost mats still helping things out too, of course. So they placed down, trying to trick up the clear from MNM, although it did not work out the last time, so we'll see if they yield better results here on the second attempt.
Gonna be some change-ups here for MNM. We'll have the Latero drones coming back in. Those Dokkaby. Oh, the Doke pick here.
5 seconds left.
Only keep BDS on the back foot. Can't be as aggressive when those logic bombs are going off, but that same breath hasn't stopped them before when it comes down to it. Looks like Renshiro make a fresh impact, ends up breaking the door there as well. A little aggressive look here from Shaiko. See if he can find himself anybody spawning on the western side. There will be one player, but definitely could not find the angle. Now for MNM and Nave, start things off here, as they'll be trying to get control over security and translate this into a physical site push. But the big problem, well, they have to face the big bad. Shaiko will be back inside a break.
Some early progress from MNM to clear out a few set pieces on the map, but overall BDS still holds strong and mostly untested, specifically in their second floor extension here. MNM won't care too much for that, though, if they're given a direct access point, which they nearly are able to find. Renshiro being spotted out here, playing over by West Main entry. I'll actually not get forced back too early on. Shaiko, though, is going to be played into a reposition from break. Loses about half of his HP in the process, but still maintains, for now at least, CCTV control. Still the intended goal from MNM to try and burst him out of here so they can move in by Westmate. One last little peek as well over towards the east side, though, as like a fact, potentially tries to line himself up for a challenge on the south window. No damage met from either side, though. But good news is he's able to waste out a little bit of this time. The phone call will stop that from happening, though. So he'll be forced into a corner, as will the rest of his team here, to respect that utility usage from MNM.
BDS so far so good on this border defense. Frag grenade Won't get any damage dealt. They've been able to box MNM out of the building thus far, keeping them on these windows, but Renshiro will finally go down to use this. MNM getting something in their camp. Need to try and find another foothold here on the site. Where is the home for this case? The buildup of the players, it's looking like they want to try and force this into Archive, especially now that we start seeing this office angle working its way in with the skeleton key. BDS, no chance of a kill just yet. Solotov with a big pick there onto Bride. Tyrant sneaking his way up metal stairs as well. Logic Bomb goes off from Usis. Answer already met from Shaiko.
Big push from Tyrant. Changes things up for MNM yet again. BDS, this may not be their side at the end of the day. Here's once again the Matrix falling to pieces. Alems finally getting some revenge as he trades back the push up through metal stairs. There takes down one of the defenders remaining here. And leaves only Shaiko inside of the 1vx now. 1v5 in this case set against him. Impossible to try and capture, so it's another flawless round from MNM as they're able to lock in a second one on the attack here on Border.
Now, flawless in both of their victories, and both of them kind of matching the pace to the other. That time, MNM using just the utmost patience to play around BDS's playstyle throughout the map. Some aggressive fronts that we saw, but MNM having a lot of respect for what BDS are capable of and constantly able to get the big picks, the rotations back, or some other angles they're able to find behind some of the farther out annexes we saw from BDS. So well done from MNM, finding those pressure points of BDS and able to exploit those to the fullest.
With things working out well for MNM, BDS is now up against the wall to a bit of an extent here, seeing how they can try to get things back under their own control. Still options to execute into on the lower floor, of course, so that's what they'll go towards, as they'll bring out the Teller's defense for this specific round. An emphasis on the motion sensors too, to make sure that their extended play does not get tripped up by flanks. Those will go down in those key positions to make sure no one from MNM can pull off a, obviously not a nook play, but something similar to that in the essence of the way it will work out. He has with a pulse as well to keep Alems back down to the relative safety of the showers room so that he can have some nice overwatch here in the mid and late points of the round to spot out all of these pushes from MNM. Speaking of which, they're on the board, so we'll take a look and see what they're going to do for their initial clear, and more importantly, if BDS can try to get in the way of that.
All damage off to Tyrant. Not a perfect rotation there. EFAC will have to fix that up a bit. A little spring cleaning. Not too much to worry about, though. For BDS, going to be back to basics and what we have been seeing from them for the majority of this map. A full-on onslaught across the entire board, trying to hold key portions of the map and make sure these entry points are very easy for them to try and thwart. MNM stepping up, looking to try and get themselves into detention. Still have some EMPs in the pockets of Usis. Moves his way in. Solotov will break into the top floor as well. Not going to have the bunker set up here. This isn't going to be for this side. It's towards the other space, as we are going to be over inside of Tellers. That's going to be a big pickup there for EFAC as well, so he'll take down Tyrant on the entry.
Tyrant down, MNM injured yet again. This first kill has been incredibly important so far in determining the outcome of the rest of the round, as we've already seen MNM struggle to follow things up when they have been at a lack for numbers. This round more than likely going to be no exception to that, as there's no easy room for a trade to be found with the loss of Tyrant apparently sledged down with him, so no top downs to be opened up from the inside of the office once, if more importantly, they're able to clear things out inside of there. Solotov tries to pre-nade to the depths of Fountain, but not really much of a setup to be dealt with on the inside of that one from BDS. It's much more properly aligned for deep office. He'll learn that now as he goes for the cross and takes a bullet in response to it. Drop down to about half HP. The rest of MNM trying to crunch their way into this one too, and they will find a successful trade finally. Renshiro on the Cade, getting taken down before he can fully peel himself back. Shaiko, though, still in the hot zone here, just over by East Main Stairs, ready for more challengers to come his ways. They'll definitely want to be taking that position down, and indeed, Shaiko ready for the challenge as Solotov crosses his angle. Problem is, indeed, it's an easy entry for Nave to make, and with Shaiko not able to constantly cut those eyes open in the back of his head, he will eventually go down. Bride for one, Nello in the trade position for that one, but now he's alone. The 1v2 set against him. A breaching charge put forward that'll blast his access into showers. However, BDS reads this, expects this. They back away, failed to give him the 1v1 gunfight that he certainly would have wanted here, and now wasting down even more of his remaining clock time. 20 seconds to go to try and make a swing work. He does have case control, so at least it's not working against that factor, but members of BDS just refusing to give him anything. Cross is made, gets himself over to the other side of the hallway, but now the player in the back of showers rips out all of his HP. 10 or less now to work with, and just no time for that plant. Like a fact, ends it with the Sheriff. Brings things back under their control, and we'll take back the control of that round once again for our defenders.
Fantastic top hold there from BDS, and it stands true. MNM cannot get things dealt with. It's BDS constantly able to fight back into a winning advantage for their man count. Big plays there, especially from Shaiko, to kind of head it all off. The rest of the gang able to pick up the pieces when necessary as well. And the round, so 2-2 now here for BDS as they are split right down the middle so far on their defensive side. We're going to head downstairs into Vents and Workshop.
One of the final site holds now for BDS as things are going to seesaw back and forth for this series. MNM still at the forefront of this one, having closed out that first round and the second one in flawless fashion for themselves, but unable to rebound so far when they lose that opening fight. So make sure they are going to be staying on point for that one, as, like I said, for the previous few rounds, it's been an incredibly important part in deciding the outcome for the rest of it. MNM certainly seem to need that full roster effect to give themselves a proper execute from what we've seen play out so far. Nearly able to make things work regardless, though, in the last round, so maybe I can see them reach a little bit deeper if things go awry on the opener again. However, the round has now gotten started. We'll take a peek as we've got a very free-flowing lineup from BDS to let their players roam about, as we've already been seeing them do for the previous few rounds, especially here in his border after all. That's what I might expect. Their views from the rest of the team beginning their initial clears. South Main is the initial emphasis here for the players on MNM to try and clear out any hold on the inside of security again.
We'll keep the Doki in, but wants a trap still for Team BDS as well that could thwart a lot of the game plan of MNM, depending on how quickly they want to go about this. Every time I feel like I'm committing a sin on broadcast when I say their name, I'm like, oh no, that is their name, we're good, we're good. Very similar branding to Candy, you know, and it happens. Anyways, Solitov and the rest of the squad working their way in on top east. It took them a little bit of time to get the drones going here, but still so much time remaining in the round. Quite a few people still outside this building trying to assist with the info game for CCTV. It's going to be Solitov that we saw entry inside of East. Have some players to try and assist with the balcony swings if they do come through for BDS.
Breeday's still waiting for the call out to try and find success on the Nitro cell. And the swing working its way in now from MNM as they take up all their pressure on east side. Solitov, big mistake made by him, does not check the doors. That's a double stack there of Breeday's EDDs. It's going to straight true, knock him down. Good possibility we could see him brought back up potentially, but it's going to be obviously at very, very low HP here. Only saving grace he has is the fact that he went down so far away from the action, but even then, the confirmation comes in from Shaiko. Like the fact, also able to claim another one against Nello. We did see one member of BDS also lost that Shaiko's trade. He now ends up going down. Uses 2 to equalize this as he finds a free pickup so far against Ren Shiro. The rest of BDS's upstairs hold now dead as the numbers get a little bit too low for comfort. They peel it back into the site and play this out, where MNM are going to match those numbers for the attacking side too.
Big swing here from EFAC, and he gets it as well, Nave. So unfortunate for him. One more logic bomb remains for Usus. Has to try and get something off of the back of this. Tyrant upstairs, no case control for either. Is that mute jammer close enough for Lems? Oh, it's actually...
second player, come on, check the doors!
So unfortunate as the Capcan traps once again befuddle MNM. These traps really getting into the way of their play. 2 big players going down, all because of negligence. And a big shotgun blast from a Lems to end the round. BDS claim the lead.
BDS winning that almost entirely on their utility. Those 2 extra kills certainly making things a heck of a lot easier to shut down the MNM clear as they move far too slowly, but at the same time, not slow enough apparently to be checking those doors as they strike twice over the course of this round here, locking in a 3rd now for our defense. Getting ready to shift this over into Armory for the next hold here as they're going to go upstairs again. This is where MNM, to be fair, have been able to close out both of their rounds. It's a little dangerous to see BDS heading back into this partition of the map, but we'll see if their third selection is going to be the charm, because, well, they can't go anywhere else. This is the final round of the half, of course. So it's either do or die time as far as this site hold is concerned.
Well, this is going to be the most successful site that we're traveling to. 89 plays so far this tournament, a 58% success rate when the defense does go to Archives and Armory. So we'll see if BDS can try and help those odds even more. The defensive win rate overall of Border right now, actually almost right down the middle, 52%. Is there anything closer? I don't think there is. Villa and Bank are both tied with Border actually at 52% for our most offender-sided. Nothing actually truly offender-sided currently right now for Siege maps in the pool. So quite interesting stats that we've had so far throughout not only our group stage, but also our playoff stage here. Now BDS set up for the very last round here on round 6, at least for this half. MNM looking to go about things in a very similar fashion, at least operator line-wise up, than we've seen prior.
And I'm just going to try and set up some drones, particularly this one on the top end, to give full overwatch for lobby. See if it potentially catches any roaming members of the BDS defense once we reach a little bit deeper into this round. But for now, it's obviously just the usual build-up for MNM, as they need to clear things out first with these Rotera drones, trying to... Oh, Shaiko drifting a little bit too close to that one there. Loses a little over half his HP from the explosion. He does not expect the radius of it to spread that far out. Big mistake made by him, but hopefully recoverable later on in the round here. Still has capability to fight, of course, but we'll see just how limited his own aggressive leans are going to be as a result of that excess damage he just took for himself. Meanwhile, on the M&M side of things, we are seeing them continue to kind of wait out for an opportunity, not being gifted one just yet, as BDS is playing into a bit of a trickier setup here. They need to figure out the best way to work around it, it would seem. Use this as well. Basically having a line up against one of the members of BDS. They're tucked a bit deeper into the site, but has not gotten the cross for it yet. He needs to commit a bit deeper to that angle in order to see it. MNM's got a big stack trying to broil up towards something here. We've got 3 players working their way over, but nice denial comes in from Shaiko, prevents the distraction from being deployed over into security. He's ready for this challenge because of that one. The spray not landing where it needs to. He'll be forced to reposition, however, corrects to find the kill there. Solotov, though, finds a trade against the door, going into the actual site, and a second pickup to trade out Shaiko also. Nella with the find on like effect. Once again, a much cleaner play overall from MNM, as it looks like they're going to be leaning into taking this site for a 3rd consecutive time in this half. Alems trying to change his team's fate in that regard, steals 1 trade back, ready for the second push to come in as well, but also having to contend against this potential lockers lean in. Coming in from the window side of things. Pretty in the meanwhile, while Lems is taking all this heat, just chilling back behind the other bomb chassis, waiting for any potential action to come through on his side as well.
Candela's ready for Nath. Are we going in? Yes, indeed we are. It's going to force Alems back. He tries to take the peek. Alems down to use this. Big damage from Brede. He's got 2 to find and TCS 12. Let's see if he can get it done. This TCSG, an amazing gun at the end of the day. To try and drop off and play this out with potentially the Nitro Cell. Going to run right over to the far side. It seems like they got a yellow ping. Solotov, is he going to make it through? He will, and he gets away as well. Brede, very minimal HP now, and a clutch moment for him.
Brede trying to ascend the stairs to retake this. Got the yellow ping, but a little late to the party on it. There we go. Pops things open, presents the target as Usus goes down. Brings it into the 1v1. Brede will get the outright clutch now. Trying to work himself in through beepers here. The pre-fire, the intel is out, but he doesn't have the full track on it. Solotov instead with the peak. Wins it out for MNM as they take a 3rd consecutive take here on lockers. They're only rounds for the attack, but it's enough to equalize us at 3-all.
MNM are doing such a good job of setting themselves up for these team plays, especially when it comes to their clears. Always having somebody right next to them to be able to reclaim that ground, take a fight, try and tag up some BDS members, and, well, if you're Solotov, kill a majority of them. So well done from MNM there, and they'll tie things up. Border 50-50 right down the middle on that half. 3-3 here as we'll switch sides.
And as we do flip those sides, we'll move into the second half here. and see what exactly BDS has up their sleeve to potentially make things work a little bit better on this attacking side. Able to trade, of course, but mainly by their own site choices, ending up losing all of their rounds here. Perfectly fine anywhere except this site, so we'll see if things fare a little bit better for them on the attack comparatively to what we saw on the defensive side of things. For MNM, very much the same flair, although they want to also get a tad more aggressive. Solotov bringing the dock into the fold. For instance, I believe this will be the operator they put here on the inside of security to kind of just solo roll this one. The laser gates and other forms of utility blocking off the intel and utility dump deeper into the lockers and other areas itself. Even a little run out there just to get the barbed wire down though, so he has a bit more of an audio cue when the wrap is going to occur against him.
On BDS, out for the very first time here on the offensive side. So let's take a look at what they feel like running. It's very similar to what we'd seen from MNM, and honestly, a very routine lineup when it comes to border, especially with that Doke working her way in past the changes in what we'd seen recently. A big pickup there for Nello is he is lurking downstairs in Workshop. He'll find himself an evac, and no teeth for BDS on this, no dice, as they won't have anybody even in the same zip code to try and get this refrag.
And sure, with an angle going in deep into lockers now, so a potent cross, but needing to try and have someone from MNM oblige it. That will be the bigger issue here. Solotov is just rushing out here, trying to take a fight on the far edge of the west main balcony. Not able to actually line up the winning angle just yet, and his opponent's quickly droning him out of position as well. He's not aware of this drone though, so won't correspond to the spottage just yet. Although certainly staying as mobile as possible, making it difficult for Lems and the other players involved in this hunting party to try and take down the dock deeper inside.
They have to be so timid. They lose another body here. It's more than likely the round also uses waiting out, seeing if BDS want to try and flirt with the dock's positioning. Nothing given them just yet. So the frag grenades on Shaiko. They can try and work this out from down low, and that's what they're gonna go for. The dock might be dead. Big kill there from Solotov. Off the mark for Shaiko, and he's gonna know these frags are beneath him now. Has to keep spinning. Second one's off the mark too. Shaiko now has the verticality to try and work for the rotation hold, but they don't have a single foothold on the entire top floor.
Nothing to work off of here. As we see here, BDS continuing to try and fight for any and all map control in the later portion of the round. Just 1 minute to go.
Just patience from BDS, but it's not doing anything.
Same problem as we were seeing in our previous series here too. Just waiting for their opponents to make a mistake. They're not gonna, that's the problem. You have to take the right foot forward. Unfortunately, Brede chooses the wrong path. Nath with the immediate cross from inside the site to take him down. Ren, Shiro, and Shaiko. All that remains here as they try to play around the main stairs. Now Shaiko, if he tries to go for this push as well, yeah, his opponents will be more than ready for him. BDS just looking a little lost here, unfortunately, in the final 20 seconds. And they try to make something from what is now a 1vx to work, but it will not happen. A flawless round yet again. I think that's the third one this map from the players on MNM. So nicely done as they take control of their first defense.
I have never seen somebody put BDS on a leash like this. This is some serious gameplay from MNM. Shutting down every facet of BDS's gameplay. They can't even add the extra layer. Shaiko can't land a grenade underneath. He's really good with a gun, but apparently can't throw frag grenades. Guy's right above him, a 3-armor stomping directly on top of his head. Cannot get it done. Both of those frag grenades go into practically the same portion of that as well. Just hoping that the dock would like run into it. BDS not forceful at all. And this team's so very talented at being able to get what they want out of a map. And MNM, as of right now, thwarting it across the board. That's only the first round of BDS's offense, though, so do still have some things that they can do down the line, but, I mean, what a bleak first round.
Certainly not looking promising for BDS to rebound here, as MNM now tries to lock down a second consecutive hold down on the inside of Vents. Different flair to it for their defense. For instance, of course, the pulse now coming out from Tyrant just to try and spot out the early movements from BDS. And late round 2, we'll help out with that. The Cade to also try and lock down some of the hatch play and catch the movement from BDS as they try to work their way around it. For the rest of the team, though, they're now spawned out on the board, so let's take a look at their initial clear as they're going to begin moving themselves. Definitely wanting to try and burn out Jail if at all possible. You can see this like fact prime, and the nade does not fully commit to it, though. So chuck that one in. Oh, it's going to miss, unfortunately. A little bit too high thrown, and Nitro coming in there as well. Still not going to knock out the electrical as far as I'm aware. Indeed, it's still positioned. So all that utility, including the Nitro, not panning out here. BDS not going to be happy with that one, as that's a full set of nades gone, and they only have one more remaining on Shaika.
Well, Logic Bomb in. Really wanting to see BDS bring something to bear. Have not been able to get anything. No bread, no water, no survival right now for BDS. Trying to look for something, scavenger mode right now, and it's so awkward to be talking like this as well, given the scoreline. But MNM, they've put a dead stop to all of BDS's plans so far, and we really have to see something to start being hopeful again. MNM, this top floor positioning has been so dominant thus far. Some yellow pings coming through, but they won't find the Valkyrie.
And as now half the round has transpired, Pulse gonna get a spot on someone there. I believe the Valkyrie, oh, never mind, excuse me. Going to see out one of the attackers on the other end of that one. Not gonna have the confidence to throw through the Nitro. It's gonna be Saltov instead, making a move on his own there. Moving forward, knocking out Shike. We got the high FOV rolling for some reason as well here.
The Valkyrie cam.
Oh, that's, yeah, we got the skin from the Valkyrie camera.
Yeah, this is the best visual bug I've ever seen, actually. This is so sick. This is awesome. No, we keep this production. That's what we do. This is sick. This is amazing.
The game looks like it's like 10% faster now.
It looks 10% faster.
And it's a zoom out effect.
I mean, hey, Ubi, if you ever needed a reason to like raise the FOV by 10, there you go. I mean, just put it at 100 instead.
Look at this drone. Zoom!
It does look really good. Tyrant with a nice shot onto a lens. But again, MNM just shutting things down. It just feels like another day in the office right now for them. But finally, we get something going here. EFAC with a big kill. This will shut down EFAC though. Who's got the case? It's going to be on Brede. Definitely going to need some help from Renshiro here. But Renshiro, it looks like his demise is going to be quite sudden into a shotgun close range. Brede, clutch savant when it comes down to it, but a lot to do, a lot to say about this, hopefully. But oh, nips it in the bud. The deagle shot from MNM, and they'll shut it down.
MNM looking to make quick work of this one here. Now BDS is going to call for pretty much an expected attack at this point, starting to fall behind to a pretty dangerous extent at 5-3. Only one more extra round they can lose. Let's take a listen.
Ils ont des cams Valkyrie, on s'adapte tout de suite, on prend une équipe comme ça en pro. Il n'y a plus de problème pour ça. Les gars, pourquoi on est là en 30 pour prendre un carré? Il n'y a pas d'amis, il faut celui dans Samir. Rushez-les, les gars. Bougez-les.
En vrai, moi je suis chaud là.
Moi je suis en difficulté sur chaque position, les gars.
Vous trônez, je rush en même temps.
Ouais, mais après, c'est pas bon de safe face à eux. En fait, allez-y, les gars, tentez des choses. Vous êtes là, vous êtes devant, ouais, allez-y. Vraiment, allez-y, les gars. Moi, on va perdre la carte sans rien tenter. Tentons des choses. Tentons des choses.
Moi, les gars, le problème, c'est qu'on propose tous des trucs et on s'écoute pas. Parce que moi, je réponds à tout le monde, mais on ne s'écoute pas.
Oui, mais toi, tu réponds. Mais il y a les gars qui répondent pas. Moi, je suis autour de moi, il y a, je sais pas qui y avait. Et quand je demande à ce qu'on push le plus toilette, je suis tout seul et pendant.
All right, so the time will close out there. And we'll head back into the game. Round 9 coming up for MNM as they try to lock in map point already built up with a 2-round advantage. Keep in mind, elimination match here. So the pressure is on for BDS, and you can hear that the impassioned discussion as we got into their pause about why they are falling behind in this matchup when realistically they should have been in a much better position. Calling back to halftime did not end up occurring. And now that the rounds are just not swinging their way so far in the second half, frustration is starting to set in.
So far, so good for MNM, but you definitely can't say the same for BDS. Talking about some of their problems there and how to attempt to solve them. See if they can make any big changes for themselves. EFAC is going to come over to the Ash. Really, just the team play not there. MNM able to slow down BDS's play. Get the big kills when it matters most so far here on Border. BDS not really able to pull it back across the line when those situations show their face. We'll see if that can change here soon. Nello with a positive read onto the position of some of these players from the default cam, and he'll start his cardiac sensor work inside of Customs.
BDS to open up jail, but while they are doing that, Nello's going to get a heck of a lot of intel here. Only seeing one, but got a little bit more of a buildup occurring outside of lower South Main right now. Try and work their way in through Passport. Lems, meanwhile, works on the other side, the Archives door. He'll take that control for himself. That first phone call also coming in, leading to an opening kill and a second one as well. Uses just with the full commitment out through the Archives door, shuts down one of the members of BDS, and that's on top of the kill that was also claimed elsewhere on the map. This is not the way that BDS needed to play this one. Renshiro as well. He's had enough. He's just going for it, taking the entry on his own regard. Not ready for it though, as Tyrant shuts him down. Finally, Shaiko yields some success for the roster by at least eliminating Nafe, but 2v4, this is tough work now for BDS to try and take deeper into the map.
The entire site still within MNM's right to hold. Nothing here for Team BDS minus the top floor. Shaiko does have security. It really doesn't matter all that much when it comes to the later rounds. Still have an MNM player down below that as well, actually, all the way over inside of Custom. So this cross angle might not even work out for Shaiko. He will make it inside, shoots, able to take down Usus, but his demise might be quite soon. Another player here inside of Supply. Does he have a sixth sense? No, he does not. And not even Shaiko is that good. The hidden player Solotov reveals himself finally. Brede has been discovered at the back of the bathroom. He's going to try and pull this plant off constantly. Pre-fires through for Nello. He's got that wall right in front of him. Almost makes the transfer, but MNM once again shut him up. And Border looking like their map.
Border indeed, all but fully secured now for the MNM roster. Just one more needing to be locked in. And with plays like this being made towards the beginning of the round, is more than likely not going to evade them for that long. BDS, of course, up against the wall for this map, of course. Still a chance for them to rebound as we have their own map pick coming up after this one on Kafe. But indeed, a bit of a unfortunate turn of events given the way that this matchup had started. You'd think that rebounding out from the Archive site and being able to win every other site, things would have looked a little bit better here, but has not ended up being the case. Now fighting for survival, both in this map and in this series, BDS need to try and find 3 consecutive rounds to keep this map rolling on.
Yeah, MNM is playing extremely well across the board, but you can't say the same for BDS. Renshiro slowed down a bit from what we'd seen prior, but for Alems, this is practically how he's been playing this whole tournament. This has been the worst tournament I've seen Alems in a really, really long time. I think he's got a .91 right now, almost like -30 on his KD spread, I do believe. It's just not a good showcase for him at all. And once again here today in this matchup, granted it is the later series here for BDS, Alems still cannot get on the board properly like we're used to seeing him do. He would never be -5. You know, especially in like Jönköping, he was playing so very well when it came down to it, but he just can't get it done here today, especially against MNM.
Well, we've got BDS out. Probably going to see a very cautious look taken by them in the first minute or so to make sure that MNM are not allowed to go wild with their own opening picks, just like we saw back on the previous round.
So just got those stats pulled up for Alems. It was a .91. He's -21, and John, get this, he's -16 on entry, 12 and 28. KPR of a .64, survival rating of a 26%. His cost, 61% as well, so dwindling from his previous tournaments. Dokkaebi and Aruni have been his most played op so far throughout this tournament, so definitely not some guns that are, you know, poor or anything like that. Just not working out for Alems, and he gets shut down again, Usus with a big pickup. And that's going to be the Nomad away. Like you can say the same about the Solus. The drone game can now work out for BDS. The logic bombs working their way in, but nothing coming past some walls being breached.
Usus with another strike, though, for MNM. Knocks down Shaiko. Renshiro and Lycofac, though, keeping the team alive and in this fight as they bring MNM down to only 2 here now. Nafe as well as Nello, all that remains to try and strike back, still end it here and now at a definitive 7-3 scoreline. Nello holding the very edge of Archives, a bit of a peculiar position too for him to be playing into. No real room to rotate, but at the same time, his opponents will not be able to establish great post plants if they want to try to play towards the side with him established here. Cam access now given to the attackers as well. Being any bulletproofs as we see one position there. Yep, we're going to strike back against our defenders. Dave immediately has to shoot that one back out and position himself for the fight, which is coming up here. BDS seems primed, ready for the executes. They just need to make sure they don't lose too much on the way in.
On a knife's edge right now. Single bullet could change up the fate here for MNM. Same could be said for BDS. Looking to stay alive, extend border. They've got the office position. Have to find a home for this planner. Brede will attempt to sneak in. Stuns over. They know one's at the back of Archive. Nave's going to drop up and rotate up metal. This could be the counter angle they've been longing for. They know Nello's here. Nave, he's going to reassume where he was prior, and he's going to lose out because of it. He's being too active. Gets cut off on the angle right after he drops it, and Nello gets gunned down as well. Too hasty out of MNM.
And with that, they survived the first of 3. Still 2 needed to go, though. Otherwise, BDS still staring down a loss pretty shortly here. MNM, I doubt, panicking too much at the loss of that round. Gave away a bit too much in the middle of it to their own fights. As a result, end up dropping down here. An unfamiliar loss, certainly for them as far as this half is concerned, but we'll see if a rebound is in the cards, moving themselves onto the first floor hold yet again for what could be our final round still. BDS giving us a similar flair. We'll see if any repicks need to come in because of the site choice, but I doubt it. This setup here should be more than appropriate to manage everything as they begin to work themselves, into the vents.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Oh, a little interesting character working their way into the mix here for MNM. We're going to have, yes, indeed, Ella come on in, see what she can get done. So we have the Grizmots in for the first time in some time. I feel like we've barely seen her this entire tournament. We'll have to see what they can get done with those. Some Valkyrie cams as well for Solitaw, but that one's actually going to bounce off of the little fan there on the ceiling. Past that, though, MNM looking very similar to what we had seen prior. Going to be able to change out the soft panel, though, here for this top floor. Try and hold things down a little bit more aggressively. Potentially a lot of utility that Team BDS will have to work their way through.
Well, the swings potentially going to be leaned in here in just a moment. We do have BDS beginning to take a little bit of map control. Solitov, of course, standing defiantly at the other end of that one for MNM as he positions himself just on the outskirts of the break hold. For BDS, though, it's going to take a little bit more courage to get them fully onto the inside of this one. MNM actually giving up this position quite easily, as we're not going to see any assistance positioned over by East Main. And now BDS know that, so they'll feel the confidence to begin moving in here and hopefully begin the process, of boxing out Solitov from his current position over on 90.
Nothing coming from the logic bomb. Was waiting for the engagement, but BDS is trying to clear out other portions of the building. Still have one logic bomb in their pocket. The drone game somewhat injured, though, for BDS as they've only gathered control of the eastern front. And some potential for this to go extremely wrong for them quite quickly as well, depending on what avenue they enter the building through. Nave directly below the radio window. Skyros down for the Fountain players. They're going to be a cross here from Tyrant. No, he's just going to try and play it on that very tight sliver. Crosses back across, takes a lot of heat, though. Sort of things are going to start being quite an issue for him.
Shotgun play in the rest from MNM here to try and hold back the tide. Shaiko scores first for BDS. So still going the full distance here as BDS refusing to give up. Once again, stealing away map control over here by Fountain. Solitov still maintaining his 90 spot, though. This could become a problem as of yet here. Uses, though, has been found out inside of Passport. Solitov finally meets his own fate, getting forced into a duel against Lykovac. MNM pushed into a corner here. BDS executing far too methodically. MNM just not being given the room for these setups to blossom. As you see there, Usus missing an opportunity, as he might have expected that just to be the Yana clone. And I think he was correct in that assumption once it is shot away deeper into the site. Camera's positioned here, spots out at least some of the pressure working its way in. But once again, also revealing the fact that the defenders have access to these now too, or the attackers rather. Nello tries to move in, tries to stand his ground to continue this fight, but it's just not going to work out. The second of third claimed. Overtime certainly in the cards for BDS. And it looks like our players over on MNM not going to want to take a chance on that as they call for their attack break coming into this final round of regulation.
Strong round from BDS. Let's take a listen in here and see what's going on.
Which side do you go in and what's the plan? Go on the east side, you reckon? Because tell us we come on. Can guard me.
Okay, they are blind, they know position. So let's just play together.
Yeah, let's talk what we want to do.
Guys, I think we came in army. But we should play Valk in office because they don't even play fucking IQ anyway. Army, no, we've only one. But I would literally get a Valk. Maybe Luke can play Valk, no?
Listen, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna play mute, same as I play. I'm gonna steal contest below. I'm gonna put a mute jammer on my feet so they cannot blockade me, and I'm gonna hide below.
But Luke, you're gonna play Valk, yeah? Yeah.
Listen, as soon as tell me when you guys are getting naded, so I can flex, okay? Ready, one Valk comes.
Literally, he stares off here.
All right, well, another round queued up. Another round on the docket here. As we get ourselves into it, it's going to be another Armory Archives hold from the look of things for MNM.
Defenders, protect your bombs from
So we'll see if there's going to be any huge dramatic shakeups, and the answer is pretty much no, at least for the defensive set here. They've pretty much a site-focused style of play with their own operator picks, but going to need to actually reflect that in their positioning too, as they have been playing a very out-and-about game, as Border oftentimes does dictate from you. However, it might be the time to peel that back a little bit if they still have an inclination to end this here and now in regulation. Otherwise, BDS certainly going to be priming themselves for that overtime as they're on the streak right now.
Yes, indeed. They've been doing a much better job of clearing out some of these, key points from MNM, like Fountain and things along those lines, and it's made it super difficult for MNM to try and battle out of those positions. Bleeding bodies, especially in that last round, very, very easily represented there. See if BDS can try and recreate that and force us to overtime. As for MNM's defensive strategy upstairs, it looks like, as of now, we'll be playing this somewhat closer to the chest. Don't have a player downstairs inside of tellers. Everybody very tight-knit on this top floor. Looks like we will have potentially one over on the custom side, maybe vent side. We'll have to see a little bit later on here for MNM exactly where that player will be. Also going to be over inside a workshop, apologies. But either way, MNM got better player down low. Nitro cell here for Nello, so could be a late round ordeal. He's actually got a mute jammer underneath his legs there, if you guys didn't see it too. That's for the logic bomb. So he literally just took his last one and placed it on the ground so nobody knows that he's just waiting inside a server. So pretty smart there from MNM.
Like a fact with the span through, it's going to connect too. He uses brought down incredibly low, but thankfully the shots aren't as clean as our attacking friend would have liked for it to be. Backs up, even after he gets boosted by the dock, loses another half of his HP yet again. Hughes is just really in the hot seat right now. Cannot find a safe spot to place himself. Don't believe there's a direct drone giving away his position either, so they're just taking note. They looks like they do have something to play off of here, but this is going to be on a different part of the map as we get ourselves into office. Shaiko with the nade being chucked back against Tyrant's position. Won't go far enough. He'll stay stable here. The second one, though, will end up a little bit better, but this one goes too deep. A little too little and a little too much. The nade's now empty, meaning that the Valkyrie will stay in place and continue to cause problems for BDS is clear.
Well, neither of these neighbors being kind to each other, as both of these teams right next door. Selma charges down on the outside of Archive, start breaking up that long angle. Solitov will finally take some heat here. Does still have that stim pistol. Use the last one now. Shaiko, can't say the same about him. No Finka in play to be able to heal them back up. Efak, he's going to be the first one dusted. Uses on the side angle. They opened up here for break. This might be it for BDS. A big stand to take. Kills necessary here. Shaiko, he's going to use the clone. Try and find some things out. Finally, Renshiro gets something going for BDS. But still, back and forth they dance, stuck in the exact same positions that they have been for practically the last minute. Just a lot of fodder back and forth.
Plan potentially going down here from Bride, but the denial coming right for him. As we see Nello, the nade, or rather the impact landing perfectly there. The Nitro takes him down. Trades going all over the place as Nave picks up another very important kill, but uses also to be exchanged back. Time getting low here for BDS, and potentially time on this map as well. Lems with one final plant attempt, trying to place it down onto the ground. He will be alone here in the 1v2, and indeed, one simple repeat from Solitov seals the deal as MNM lock in map number 1 at the very end of regulation here on round 12.
Incredible game from MNM. So many layers, so many crossfires assisting them with the office push of BDS. Big kills coming through and a perfect stop from Nello. Love the mute jammer play that we saw down low to stop the logic bombs from sussing him out as well. Now they'll be looking on to map 2, Kafe, to try and take this series 2-0.
And ladies and gentlemen, we do have that map number 2 coming up in just a few minutes, so stick with us. We'll be back with it right for this.
I'm Nicholas Morton, but you know me as Pingu. I'm a 2-time Rainbow Six Siege World Champion and former top Rainbow Six Siege player in Pro League. Welcome to my Siege Ranked Bootcamp. We're talking 20 seconds left on the clock, you got the diffuser in hand, what do? Play the way that you're comfortable with, because you have confidence when you're in this position, that is when you're gonna be at your very best. Good luck.
And we are back once again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the stream here at the Six Invitational. Welcome back to the stream here at the Six Invitational as we are in the midst of MNM versus BDS. MNM taking control of map number 1 of the series. Of course, they need to take it all the way to round 12 to lock it in, but they do succeed as BDS falters here. Thankfully, going over to their map pick now. They're going to get ready for some revenge on map number 2 for Kafe. We'll just have to wait and see if they can get the job done. My co-caster, as usual, is Stokes. Stokes, let's break down your interpretation of what went down there on map number 1.
Kind of all went to hell in a handbasket, didn't it? It was a lot of back and forth between these two. BDS really not capable of getting their footing in some of these really high-octane rounds that MNM were throwing at them. Constant looks, and especially later on in the rounds for MNM, some fantastic angles being adopted into their play that BDS really weren't ready for. It was them trying to recoup that we saw later on that was very successful. But even then, MNM still able to maintain not only man advantage, but the map control necessary to take border, and that was all off of the back of Uzis with a fantastic game, 15 and 8 plus 7 on his KD spread, 92% cost, and a 142 rating. John, to round it out, say that the Marshmallows and Molotovs are doing pretty well.
Okay, pretty good indeed. You can look at the entry stats and see that you have a bit of a mixed balance between both of our teams, as that had a very large effect, especially for the earlier rounds on the map in terms of who was actually winning the round. For M&M's, of course, kind of snowball effect. It seemed like they relied on keeping that full roster rolling to have the momentum necessary to win some of their own earlier attacking rounds. And when they did lose that opening engagement, going down a player or two, that's when obviously the struggles really started, and their capability to bring that back under their own control just did not really seem super present. So I'm assuming that we're going to have to see BDS try to abuse those same things as we get ourselves into the map, as it is time, ladies and gentlemen, to get things started. Kafe Dostoyevsky is map number 2 of this series. Let's see if BDS can survive and rebound now, or if MNM is going to send them packing with a straight 2-0.
Well, I think a 2-0 up against Team BDS would probably be the best Valentine's Day gift MNM has ever gotten. So let's see if they're able to get it done. They're going to have the first ban here. It's going to be Ying. Love that they're taking this away on Kafe. Her execution utility, her ability to clear out a lot of these, very close quarters positions like Pixel and some other pivotal locations of the utmost importance to the offense. Dokkaebi as well. We've seen how easy and just how big of a monster she has been throughout this tournament every time she's played. Valkyrie also going to be removed. And what's going to be our last defensive ban here? We'll see how hindered that will be.
As the final ban comes in, it's going to be Ma, interestingly enough, as we want to get rid of a little bit of the utility mitigation. Does give a lot of freedom to MNM to start off this half, though, as they're going to have both Solus as well as Azami to set themselves up. Solus for the general freedom, and obviously just capability to avoid or outright knock out drones that come her way. And then on top of that, the Azami play for setting up areas upstairs like Cigar to really batten down the hatches, as it were, and prevent any pushes from BDS from being successful. Doesn't look like we're going to get either of those operator picks, at least not initially, though. So that is going to hold back the craziness that we may get from some of those new power operators, at least initially here, as you don't find it super relevant to utilize on this first floor hold.
Yes, indeed. So, welcome to Kafe, folks. I hope you like it cold. I mean, we do here in Montreal. 54% defensive win rate so far throughout the tournament on Kafe with 16 plays. This will be the 17th. Bar Cocktail is our most successfully defended site at a 63%. Where Service and Cooking, the site we're on right now, follows that up at 56. Mining Dining, the worst at 42. And in third place, Reading Dining at 51%. Let's get into this and see if MNM can try and take matters into their own hands on this defensive side. If they can get way ahead of the game here, we could decide things quite quickly on Kafe. BDS out the gates now for the very first time, and they've got Lion to boot.
Like a fact, going to move directly towards the main entryway. Unfortunately, won't find an easy path inside, but does have the capability to deal with that laser gate, as he's got the triple flashes to dump right into there, one of which already going to be utilized to clear things out and hopefully allow him to start conquesting forward just a tad here. Same will be pushed forward as they're going to spot out this camera on the inside of the building, and
that
actually
is absolutely hilarious.
That was
the bulletproof camera.
Ah, yeah.
Yep, they shoot. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's usually quite important.
I forgot it has that EMP in it. Yeah, so that's what they're going to.
Oh, trades back and forth.
As we said there, the bulletproof camera does have that one little EMP charge. They use it to disable the first attempt to take it down with the Rotero drone. LM's, of course, getting right back onto that one and sending a second at it to make sure that it goes away. They don't want to be handing over that type of intel to the players from BDS, so rather to the players from MNM, so they do get rid of that very quickly. Solitov with the hold here by the Whiskey Door. Still looking to try and line up this headshot. BDS way more composed in that position. Solitov and the rest of MNM do have to back away. Give BDS at least that little bit of room to start this engagement.
Oh, man.
They'll try to move forward. The nade going through as well, and right on top of Solitov says goodbye to him. Shaiko also quickly dealing with Nave. The defense is falling to pieces here before BDS even really starts their commitment. So things not looking good indeed for MNM to sustain going into a later portion of this round.
And Tyrant's so low on HP, and he has a lot of fights to win here. Practically the entire team of BDS bearing down on his location. Swings out toward White, found out on the drone. This will be the pick here. Lems will take him down. Nice shots from him. Up to Nello now on site to 1 versus 4. This doesn't really seem like it's going to work into his favor at all, does it? 2 BDS members lined up on both sides of this site, and it's going to all start here. Some crucial shots from Nello. He's going to hop into Prep Kitchen, but they've boxed him out. They know that he's stuck in this corner. Shaiko waiting to be able to find him. Very well done from BDS, handling it extremely well, especially on the frag grenade delivery that we saw in Whiskey.
Much more confident start to things for BDS as they put their foot down right at the beginning of the round, setting an expectation for MNM as we move deeper into this series here. They'll rotate back up into Reading and Fireplace for their second hold. See what potential surprises will pop out here as BDS yet again bringing a very similar lineup to this one. They'll still be heavily utilizing those Rotero drones on the floor as the Lion as well to scout out any movement from MNM. And the usual attacking assortment that isn't required for this site. Apart from that, this will be a top-down clear though from BDS. We'll need to work things a bit more progressively as they won't be able to focus entirely on just that first floor clear, only the first floor clear. MNM should have a few tricks up their sleeves, specifically deployed towards that third floor to try and slow things down, and that would be especially so considering we've got Nave selecting the Clash to bring into the fold on this one.
It's time for some Clash play. We haven't seen it yet today here for MNM, but time to see if we get it now. How successful it can be. Haven't seen Clash all that much this entire tournament, but when she is brought, she is quite the brute force. To constantly deal with the slowing effect of her electricity, as well as just the overall shield play that we're all accustomed to when it comes to Rainbow Six. So we'll see if Nave can channel any of that going into round 2. Should definitely slow down things for BDS on their entry points towards the actual areas that MNM are holding. Obviously, it'd be a little easier for them to get some key footholds, at least on the outside portions of this building, as Kafe a little bit bigger than the map like border.
Lems also leaning on this rappel right now, trying to see if he can capture Solitov, and he nearly does. Solitov oblivious to it as he tries to go for the cross and re-establish deeper Cigar positioning, chucks the drone down in hopes of an immediate refire so that he can stay in this spot, but will not get the response to that one. Solitov evacuates the situation, gets himself out of dodge there, keeps himself alive, more importantly, to continue the play later into the round. And so the rest of the team here, they're trying to find ways to strike back against the early clear pressure from BDS as well, but no dice on actually locking in towards any of that just yet. Lems and the rest of the squad continue to bait down some of their time here in hopes of sussing out something from the defense, but not coming out with much so far into this one. Like a fact, creeping himself forward onto that new balcony. Solitov deep committed, of course, to Cigar now. BDS should be somewhat aware of this. They just don't know where he went after he crossed in that direction earlier on in the round. Wow. But wow, the Clash apparently is going to be a non-issue. The nade getting perfectly placed directly on top of Nave, and Solitov apparently not going to be expected no longer on the inside of Cigar. Gets away with one before dashing away down the train hatch.
Directly under him. Oh, Maestro, are you ready for the high-flying maneuver? In fact, doesn't seem like he wants to go for it. Go for the counter angle here. Much smarter addition. Oh, he just sees the barrel. A single step. That's all that separates him. EFAC cannot hop over this, though. Smash and grab. Can he get the kill? Pressure out. There it is from Renshiro. Fantastic team play from them. Love top floor control. Nitro self-prep for uses here. Gonna have to worry about that. The E1D out as well. EFAC rotation in towards pillars, looking for this plant on the reading door here in the near future.
Tyrant with the wrap, an immediate lock-in against the Lems, removing the strength of numbers from BDS here, but like a fact at the same time, going to try and just steal the site and make the numbers a bit of a non-issue for him and the rest of his team. With the commitment to the inside, barely wins out that engagement, but that'll guarantee the plant to go down. Brede, of course, being the one to slap it onto the floor in the first place here. Tyrant with an initial response, catches like a fact, still in the open by Library. Solitov as well, trying to rotate back in to a better retake position, but with Renshiro having the top down established, it is going to be a tough ask to retake this area. They'll get it, but okay, how do they get past the sledge now? He's already down Solitov somehow. Trying to bring him back up from the brink, and it looks like they'll be successful in that too. Renshiro not establishing the needed overwatch for it, but watching instead for the case, and as such, he will catch Tyrant. Solitov makes the run up top, but timing is just not going to work out here. The descent has been made, only about 3 seconds in excess here. He misses his opponent, but at the same time, Renshiro gets behind coverage with just enough time and will claim the kill anyway. So the second one also going to fall to BDS here as they lead 2-0 to start the map off.
Renshiro, the hero of the round for BDS, not only because of the post-plant positioning, what he was able to accomplish there, but really just the entry moments here. Him jumping down and influencing this play onto Nello, really sparking a lot of positive plays from BDS. Able to get that plant down. MNM, though, having that dog in him, still able to bring this down to the 1 versus 1. But BDS, they are looking so solid so far on this offensive end. Not only that last round, but the prior round to that, onto this exact site. Such easy pickings for them as they were able to dismantle the entire setup with some keyly placed frag grenades.
And with those being properly utilized here, BDS is able to score themselves a second round inside of this map. Bit of a different flair going to be shown from MNM as they finally look to try and lock things down with another first floor player rotating over to this one now. They're attempting it already back in round number 1. Showing a little bit more aggressive of a stance that time. This time going to rely a bit more on the utility play between both the Echo as well as the Goyo Canisters and Tyrant's Toxic Babes. Try and stem the tide from BDS once they are ready to execute here on this round.
I've been seeing a position somewhat similar to this from a lot of teams trying to hold down Bakery. I think the key thing for MNM is I'm very surprised that they didn't bring Azami. She's so fantastic in that bank, or rather that bakery position. Not on bank, that's quite a ways away from Russia. It's all the way in Los Angeles, actually, for that map. But yeah, no Azami in play. Just again, pretty surprising for Bakery, given all the positions you can kind of break up and new angles you can develop with those Kiba barriers. But MNM feeling as though the Goyo Canisters as well as the Yokai will suffice with that deployable shield. Twitch drone in, will get thwarted by a mute jammer. Able to get rid of a piece here. And an ADS, and a camera. Nobody paying attention to EFAC's Twitch drone, so he's going to let that reside in Small Bake for some time.
That's most of the info util now gone from the Small Bake, and of course the entryway to the Big Bakery area. So it does limit the potential capabilities there for MNM a little bit, but still going to be in perfectly fine position for now. It's just that slower clear from BDS. When it does finally reach that pivotal point, things will be a bit more difficult to try and fend off as they'll have free access with drones. They can potentially line that up against any more aggressively lean players trying to play against the Bakery counter itself, but still a few seconds away from seeing all of that unfold as BDS needs to get themselves into position. Brede and the rest of BDS continuing to kind of align themselves will await this back as the time ticks down further and further. Now the flash dump comes in to start the little bit of a pressure challenge here against Tyrant. Nicely done with that nade too. It rolls just close enough to actually knock out both the shield as well as the ADS, but not close enough to get triggered by it when it was still in the air. So it takes that one down, fully locking it in, and should destabilize Tyrant's position pretty quickly here to make it that much easier to actually eliminate him.
Don't have to worry about it in a certain sense, though. They play that too close. Might be their demise due to that shotgun. And Shiro's gotten a lot of space to work with on this top floor. Tyrant still somehow residing inside of VIP past all of this. But BDS really haven't forced him out of his hole just yet. It'll be Solitov to go down first. Shaiko knows that there's still a player around the area. Nello's going to get burnt up a bit past that. BDS have got to strike here. Who's going to head this off? Shaiko looking for the swing still on VIP. Another smoke out, and that might be the kill necessary. Some damage off, but it's going to be Nello to falter. They know where At least one of these players are, but MNM making a grand stand on the site now. That's something that they didn't account for. Shaiko's constantly been flirting back and forth with this position, but now it's just up to Nafe to try and stop this from happening. Shotgun out, big play from Tyrant. Nafe's up top, he might have this, but he's not paying attention to the hallway player. Renshiro with a big play, some big shots coming in from Tyrant, but now he has to deal with the optimal positioning of Renshiro. He doesn't have any grenades to try and solve this. A sledge above, a drop. Will this force Tyrant off? It will. Shotgun out, Renshiro gets it done again.
Tyrant nearly could have had it on the stick there, but decides to go for the frag instead. Loses the round on it. As Renshiro once again clutching it out big for BDS here. It's been the story all day for this team. It's going to trigger an MNM tack timeout as it's them now that are struggling outright so far inside of this map. And apparently need some serious help from their coach.
Yeah, Renshiro is 7-0 right now, so let's take a listen in.
It's no problem. They are not doing anything special. You just don't see them. Okay? We just die to the people. Die to people. Come on,
Yeah, but you guys need to tell me the whole sword clock because you made the fucking cloaks and garage and he shot me from where was it?
Okay, don't worry. Where do you want to go?
Alright, so let's communicate, guys. You got this, your fucking list.
Luke.
Let's calm down as well. Let's get the next 3 rounds and then we go from there.
Okay, I can be in garage always, so I can have enough.
Yo, I'll tell you, if you wall bangs, you can tell.
I need to play again. I don't have a mind. I'm going to be doing that and I need to mind.
All right, and the pause will expire. Get ourselves back into things here for round number 4. BDS looking to make a statement response after things just did not click that well for them back on border. We will have to wait and see if Destiny potentially was meant to give them this map instead. They'll thrust us onto Skyscraper for that 3rd and final map. Send this series all the way. MNM, of course, this is their big rotation point. We will see now if the pause has potentially brought out anything new for them. Certainly trying to play a bit more into the site yet again as the Mira has been picked up here by Tyrant as well. Alongside of the castle barricades. MNM wanting to maybe dictate the play style from BDS a little more as they've had free reign over most of the map for the majority of this half so far. Not necessarily something they want to allow to continue here as we move into the second quarter of things.
Solid timeout here from MNM. Don't want to let this get too far gone on the defensive side unless they were just quickly trying to run this over to Skyscraper, but obviously have to try and give it you know your Boy Scouts best. MNM will be building things up on this mid floor at the mirror windows here from Tyrant. Also the Pulse play working its way in past the Solus, who we've been seeing so much of throughout this tournament. Pulse also starting to show up just a tad bit more often than what we're usually used to seeing. Still a very solid operator, but definitely a thing that's worked its way in for this tournament. BDS is going to ascend to the sky, hit the roof, start breaking up these hatches, and get this drone play going for round 4.
Will be the slow wind-up as usual. So MNM still trying to build up their own defenses. They'll patiently wait in the depths of their setup to see what they can potentially suss out from their attackers here and hopefully execute upon things to put a better defensive set up on the board. Like a fact, just gonna whack away at the hell door here. So we'll check in with him in a few minutes once he completes the set on that one. Freeday and the rest of BDS, though, make the initial entry towards top red, and we'll be able to clear things out leading up to Cigar as well. No resistance there. It's not until they work themselves, of course, to cocktail side of things that we've got that little 2-player stack from MNM. Tyrant's position going to be nice and secure too, with the Mirror being played into Mining Room. This is the usual setup for her, and it should work perfectly fine to sway away any temptations from BDS to go for some early window play.
So much damage dealt to Nello, and this is going to force respect out of MNM. Shaiko and BDS have woken up on this map. It's their choice and definitely showing. Nafe with a nice pickup. Solotov goes down though, and I don't know if anybody's capable of getting him. Actually, they will safely pick him up off the ground. Blood in the snow, but still alive and breathing. It's a key factor for MNM as they'll maintain their man advantage. A frag grenade out, but just as I say it, it's stolen away from Shaiko. Such a perfectly placed grenade, and it looks like BDS have got a perfect read so far onto MNM's positioning. Nafe might get caught off guard here. This fight's so very important to the future of this round, and Alem shuts him down. BDS all over MNM on Kafe.
Nello and Tyrant, all that's left here is MNM may have made the mistake of allowing this map to go through, just constantly beaten out in the middle of the round, never able to match the pacing of BDS on this attacking side. Tyrant with one final fadeaway kill. He gets immediately exchanged out, once again, I believe, by Renshiro to end things there. As BDS keeps it solid. The coach looking very happy on their side now, as this is a great rebound from them. And indeed, a 4-0 lead for the team. Definitely something to be smiling about, as MNM just does not have an answer on the defense.
The communication from BDS right now is unparalleled on this map. The way that they're breaking down this information and able to make plays off it later into the round. You know, key factor there being Shaiko's ability to play off of the info and get that frag kill coming up white. A lot of positive things for this French squad. Looking like an easy map for them, John. 40 up 4 rounds, and I mean, well within their right to take this entire half.
Certainly looking like it will continue to go that way. All the changes need to be made on MNM's side of things. Need to figure out a better way to make these defiant stances, these bunker setups, these extensions out from the site, even the roam game, need to find a way to make sure it has success, because BDS are reading into it. And as Stokes mentioned, the communication too far on point. Even if you're able to get away with one, more than likely one of BDS's teammates will just re-exchange it a few seconds later anyway. Trying to go full bunker, but this is not the way this map is generally played out. Gonna try to go up to the 3rd floor, where there really isn't a roam game too much to worry about here. It's just all played on a long horizontal game, as both teams will fight and scrap for control over that 3rd floor.
Well, Renshiro with a huge bounce back from what we saw initially.
Nice.
Wow. Nath off the audio catches Alims completely off guard. A Kafe classic right there. Same with the Nitro cell, but thank God Shaiko's got his ears on. He hears that thing and pokes it out of the sky. Able to stop MNM from dealing another death blow to Team BDS.
We are going to see Tyrant, in the meanwhile, get slapped down. And then I believe we're going to try to follow it up with a Whitehall push here.
We have a nade play there from Shaiko to get that nice little damage proc on a Tyrant.
BDS, though, only just now entering from top red, so they'll be held back for a little bit longer. Shaiko still trying to move around, check for all the intel. Has spotted the move from Solotov. Working himself out from Pixel there. So they will have to be a bit cautious when they fully commit from the red drop, or potentially the hatch play too, if they try to work themselves in from that avenue instead. The nade duck coming in for the attackers. Taking out really not a whole lot, unfortunately, under these circumstances. Just forcing back the hold from Nello a little bit more, forcing in a little bit more respect. The patience in the meanwhile from Lycofak pays off hugely. He's been able to work himself into the janitor drop. Takes down one there, quickly wraps to find a second target over by lower white as well. Beautiful pinch from him. BDS were at a lack for options of how they were going to be able to start this entry work, and apparently they find the direct answer by just going for the outright flank against the defensive setup. Another member of the team already down on the defensive side as well here. Make that 2. Solotov was brought back up, so they do have that extra member rolling, but that is indeed all they have left now. Solotov in the 1v3. Can't even get out of the room he's holding. So BDS make quick work of things yet again to lock in number 5.
Get you somebody that smiles at you like Bride smiles at Renshiro. Bride knows Renshiro is having a ball right now, having a heck of a game, keeping BDS in this. What a showcase of how to play Kafe from BDS so far. The patience play constantly working its way in, allowing their other teammates to work the map, creating more chaos on the defensive end, rolling these kills up and smoking them right now. BDS. 6 rounds in a row, very capable, well within grasp now. They're sitting on 5. MNM, they haven't been able to muster a single defensive round on Kafe, which used to be a hallmark of defensive play.
It did. Not looking like it, though, inside of this map, as MNM fails to pick up even a single round so far here. Changing things a little bit yet again to try and play into Library, adding the Goyo canisters to this hold along with the Maestro, which has been present for previous plays also. Let's see if that can potentially be the winning adjustment. Not entirely sure if it's going to end up being the case. A few slight changes for BDS, mainly just to bring the Thatcher into this one, as well as the Buck for a Lems to deal with a little bit of extra soft breach on those top downs. If Renshiro finds themselves getting picked, it'll be a nice insurance policy more than anything. But it's not required by any means here. Team BDS out yet again here. ready to begin moving forward. We'll see how quickly they can try to steal away third floor control, as that's been the initial goal for them, and the initial goal for most teams when moving through this site.
Yes, indeed. The craziest thing about this matchup right now is that this is who is able to go off further into our lower bracket. Whoever loses this ends up going home. BDS already beating Liquid earlier today, our former Yongshipping major matchup. Not only our runner-up, but also our victors here in the likes of BDS. Having to play each other in the very first opening round of the lower bracket, now leading to this. BDS up 5 rounds over MNM, making their case to continue on in this tournament. Sending MNM home, which has been one of the most fun teams to watch. Very interesting little knife there, build up. Perfectly filled in. It literally looks like the foam in your walls for like, you know, warmth. Trying to insulation. There we go. The second one's gonna work out. Warmth. I was trying to remember what the heck the word was. Insulation there. EMPs and they're actually both gonna get eaten up by ADSs. Don't see that every day. There's gonna be 3 ADSs here for Nafe as he's making sure he doesn't get blown sky high.
And Nafe certainly with a bit of an insurance policy sitting on the ground right there to eat up all of these nade throw-ins. BDS, though, still trying to prioritize the elimination of that player. Is not able to lean into the winning angle for it just yet. A little over a minute to go here now for BDS to make things work. They're 5-1. Certainly could be in the cards, but BDS have been patient in the way they approach. It's a good spot, too, as they do catch the Azami hopping over the barricade. So look at this, Lem's nose. Cocktail is clean for the push here as he works himself forward. His teammates right behind him for that play as well. Great snowball from BDS to steal away all that third floor momentum. They'll take it away. 45 seconds, though. Keep in mind, of course, obviously third floor is not the site. So they still need to make the rotation down on the second, get themselves into library if that is going to be their plant point.
Plenty of angles adopted for BDS, but that also works back against them. Some big kills coming through for MNM, but Brede will fire back. Tyrant to falter. Alems once again eliminated early, but it looks like it's not going to befuddle Team BDS all that much. Big kills, it's going to be down to Solotov, and I don't see him getting too far with this, especially after he gets his first kill. If the first kill does even come. As the player is there, he'll find that, but now they know where he is, and that's the big issue. He'll work his way in via Hell. Nice angle, but slap Shaiko onto the floor. Where does this case go down? Well, it's actually over inside of the other room here. Brede's got a nice angle to try and abuse, but Solotov will clean him up. EFAC will be the one to actually pick up the kill off of an angle through the fireplace. So a perfect half from BDS here on Kafe.
And as BDS is able to lock that one in, like Stokes said, a perfect half, not leaving a whole lot of room open for MNM to rebound in the second half. It needs to be pretty much the same, not even pretty much, it needs to be the same thing from them. Perfect 6 rounds, so we'll see how far they can get, but realistically, BDS just kind of warming themselves up for Skyscraper now, as that is probably the focus for not only them, but in all honesty, MNM too here, as they have failed outright to win even a single round on their offensive half.
Protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
I'm just curious for MNM here. Let's check this out here. Kafe, 3 plays recently. They've beaten Wolves, Dire Wolves, and Liquid, all on this map. Haven't lost it in recent history. They only banned it 1 time, it seems, and that was banned by MNM. So MNM, not a slouch when it comes to this map. No wonder they allowed it through, but BDS, simply better. There's no other way to put it at the moment. See if they can have a smooth 7-0 here. This will be, I do believe, the 3rd or 4th 7-0 of the tournament, if it does happen. The other 2, sadly enough, happening to SSG.
And unfortunate indeed for SSG, but it had to happen to someone else at some point, and we're going to find out in this round if it is going to end up being MNM. Not the way you want to close out a game with a donut here. At the very minimum, the team can just, like I said, kind of wipe the thoughts away and focus on map number 3, but we'll see them get to that point. MNM is still more than likely having a little bit of fight left in them. It is just hard sometimes to fight against the inevitable, as it would seem at this point for BDS, but they need to put their foot down first in at least one of these defensive rounds. Let's see if they can get the job done as MNM begins the process of popping things open. It takes some initial third floor map control. BDS immediately striking true, but MNM ready for the challenge, wherever it went down. We're going to see Nave able to trade that one back on to Renshiro, but Nave as well will be brought down to just a tiny little sliver of HP because of it.
I was going to say Nave almost died too. Very low on HP, hasn't even used the first EE1D yet. Tyrant gone. And Tyrant actually the man with the most frags so far here for MNM. Oh, a gunfight that Shaiko wants so badly. Dancing with the hatch, he'll make it out. Rotate his way back towards Shaiko, in towards Cigar. He'll play inside the hut for now. Usually see him on this favored side of the skylight. So routine thing, nice shot there from Alems. Wow, a very, very critical blunder there from Solitov, something that they really needed in their camp. But BDS have made very quick work not only of this round, but of Kafe. This is looking well within their right to take.
Just a minute and a half to go here. BDS will be in pole position to lock things down without a single challenger on the grid here. Tyrant and Solitov already dead. These two players are relatively close to it on the MNM side of things. So how exactly will they piece this back together? Some early damage connecting against Shaiko here. Shaiko as well, forced to hit the deck, at least initially, but it's going to be thrown back. Nave going to go one more before he goes down, but Shaiko for two as he steals away both of the players trying to push the hatch play. Nello now alone here, only with a hell door to play into as well. Still has to make another rotation to get himself back up to the third floor. It is just not looking plausible here for MNM to still keep themselves in this one. BDS, more than likely, heading over to a third map with a perfect 7-0 in their pocket. That'll be a massive boon indeed there. So I think it just draws a smiley face in the wall at the second one at the end of it. Not really anything it can do. So BDS just taking the W at the end of this one. 7-0 victory over MNM.
Well, shout out to Nello for smiling through the pain there. 7-0 for BDS. They immediately bounce back from their border loss. They're going to send us on to Skyscraper, which is bound to be a barn burner between these two. BDS have not dropped a single round since we left border.
11-2 from Renshiro in that game as well. A massive scoreline. He's not the only one that picks up a very definitive scoreline like that. Either way, though, folks, map number 3 is prepped and ready to go. Do stick with us. We're going to take a short break, and then when we do come back, we'll have that third map ready to rock and roll.
I'm Nicholas Mortson, but you know me as Pingu. I'm a 2-time Rainbow Six Siege World Champion and former top Rainbow Six Siege player in Pro League. Welcome to my Siege Ranked Bootcamp. We're talking 20 seconds left on the clock, you got the diffuser in hand, what do? Play the way that you're comfortable with, because you have confidence when you're in this position, that is when you're gonna be at your very best. Good luck.
And we're back once again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to SI. As we do have MNM up against BDS here, going to map number 3. Two very different showings so far from either team. When you look at map number 1 or map number 2, it's been relatively one-sided. Even though, of course, on map number 1, we did need to go to the full 12-round count, if memory serves me correctly, to lock in our winner. It still went handily, in my opinion, the way of MNM. This time, though, all BDS, all day long. Not a single round picked up by MNM, as BDS has control of every single engagement. Certainly going to be a bit of a demoralizing one for MNM, given they had the run up to the start of this series, but now they need to recover. Moving on to our third and final map. And our last map of the day as well here, for this stream at least, is going to be on Skyscraper. Should be jumping into it in just a few minutes. We can see the stats, hopefully, and everything else before we get ourselves into it. But both these teams need to prepare for their final duel in a moment. And keep in mind, this is a lower bracket matchup as well. So both these teams fighting for survival.
Yes, indeed. A clean 7-0 there. We'll let the stats speak for themselves on that. But as you said, John, Skyscraper going to be up next for us, and also going to be the duel of fates between these two to settle who will move on in the tournament and who's getting that express ticket home, who flies away from Montreal, and who will be on our main stage for your viewing pleasure when everybody flies in on Friday. Well, we'll just have to see. We're only moments away here from Skyscraper. MNM not able to muster a round at all on Kafe. Haven't had a round since Border, where they were able to win, and now they have to try and take a map yet against the French powerhouse here in the likes of BDS. Let's get into it here on Skyscraper in between MNM and BDS.
And as we get ourselves into it, bands are already rocking and rolling here. MNM has the first and final one. BDS has the two center ones. MNM initially going to knock out Thermite just to obviously make the overall hard breach situation a bit more complex, specifically for BDS here. He's oftentimes the first go-to, as you're not going to be double reinforcing the walls very often, ones that you're going to be critical to take down, of course. So we'll just knock that one out. Montaigne is the second choice. This one coming from BDS, of course. Montaigne, incredibly useful for getting access specifically to the T-room site. So not wanting to deal with that potential execute, they just knock it out of play entirely. And the same for Valkyrie here, as she's still just too useful on a universal perspective. So we'll chuck her right out of the game.
Making so much sense when it comes down to it. Thermite starting to be kind of a notorious ban here for Skyscraper for you and I. Saw him banned earlier on today, as well as the Bandit, and as he's been so useful when it comes down to it for Bandit tricking and trying to eliminate a lot of the entry points for the offense, making it to where they can seldom get in or get a breach, try and get pressure on things like Geisha, as well as some of the other walls over in Office, but won't have to try and dance that jig no more. So MNM won't have the Bandit in the mix, obviously. No mute jammers either to try and hold up these walls, but they will have a zombie and Solus. So a lot of utility still abound to set them up defensively, as well as hinder the info game of BDS.
BDS, well, let's start things out on the attack here. So we rotate ourselves into it. We'll see just how prepared MNM are going to potentially be for the rushes this time coming in from BDS. Doesn't matter which side they played onto, BDS had control of the entire picture in that previous map. So how will MNM get things started out this time, as they have another defensive-sided start going into this final map? Will history repeat itself, as we just saw happen back on Kafe, and see BDS give us a masterclass on how to clear out this map for 6 rounds straight? Or does MNM have that little bit of extra fight left in them to take the challenge to BDS a bit more directly, find a bit more early round prowess and trading those kills back, and hopefully giving them a few capabilities to pick up the rounds earlier on.
Excited to see how BDS sets pace for us here. They have the logic bombs that can seriously help them, as well as the clones from Shaiko. I see this utilized on the top floor, try and clear things out. MNM, some solid defensive fortifications, mostly centralized around the center hallway that we tend to talk about when it comes to Skyscraper. Shaiko will be building himself up for Black Balcony as well. Lem's wrapping around, but he's mostly over towards the other portion of the building. Team BDS trying to make sure this entire top floor is influenced across the board before they start making their entries, just so there is some level of team play working its way into this.
As we have the play coming out from BDS, Shaiko is going to land the first blow this time around here. Nafe gets caught in the middle of the hallway with that entire, just full peaks for the trade. 2 kills immediately gifted over to our attackers, leaving Uzus, Nello, and Solotov as the last 3 standing for MNM. Where will they fight back? Where will they have this defiant stance? You can see the setup from Solotov just below, on the inside of, I believe, under the side of Geisha, but a drone has already spotted him out, revealing his position and preventing any serious power plays, more than likely, from broiling out from this spot. Nello upstairs here, a little bit more ready for the challenge to come in from Shaiko. Get some damage back onto him. Let's make sure he is perfect in this respect, though. We see that nade coming in from below, doesn't fully kill him, but that with the combination of the Rotero drone nearly does take him down. However, stands tall. Solotov as well to strike back with a second kill, puts us on even terms now, with those trades being found at the 1-minute mark.
Yeah, Solotov, somehow, some way, you believe it was the Geisha drop, but hard to say. Able to get up behind Shaiko on Black Stairs. Get that pivotal frag, getting us into the 3 versus 3. MNM constantly trying to barter for some semblance of advantage, or just a way to equalize. Finally capable. Have EMPs here for Alems, but he really can't do too much with this position. No frag grenades like Doke used to have to try and toss through that drone hole. It'll be Bride to strike instead. Another player down here for Uzus, so it's going to be up to Solotov to try and get something, but no, BDS shuts it down. And Renshiro, again, able to take out MNM, and he is feeling himself here today.
Renshiro's certainly keeping the energy up for BDS as we start to get a little bit later on in the evening now, with BDS looking to continue their perfect streak now up to 8 rounds in a row if you consider the previous map for them as well, rolling off of the perfect 7-0 Kafe that they just played, of course. We'll see how long they can keep this going for.
I'd say he woke up on the right side of the bed, but it's like he woke up, set the bed on fire, and then just like ran down the street. He's got so much energy pumping through his veins right now, man. The undisclosed energy drink inside of his little cup there, definitely getting to him, but it's helping him out. This is the most live wire-esque I have seen Renshiro in my entire life, and I have watched a lot of BDS games. He's usually the one that's just like completely calm as well. You never get anything out of him, so I mean, pretty funny at the end of the day. I really love the energy we're getting. That's exactly what you want out of your esports players.
A little bit of the opposite, yeah, showing up here for
and that's why it's so funny to me. It's just like you never get this out of Renshiro, and now it's him today that has all this go-lucky energy, so love to see it.
So as BDS inch themselves that much closer to ultimate victory, MNM wonder what exactly they can potentially do to change up their own fate. Setting up on the other side of the map this time, they'll go into the office hold for round number 2. BDS, of course, more than ready to deal with that, so they have the hard breach to quickly try and stabilize things here. Give them access to the check-in desk and a few other spots. As I know with this Rotero drone as it sneaks in, but actually is going to get mute jammed out just at the last second here. So that saves the potential mirror setup, and more importantly, MNM able to strike first this time too. Alems is found out via a shotgun and taken down here to set our defenders up into a 5v4 at the beginning of the round.
Well, for BDS, it doesn't matter as long as they have Renshi alive. Nell's going to have so much damage dealt to him and try and build this up with the drone play. EFAC working his way forward. Some shots through on that mirror window. Do have a player position down low for some preventative maintenance from MNM. Have the nitro cells primed and ready to go for a later plant. BDS going to continue to flirt with the breach wall outside here, but where's the remaining members of the team? We've got a cross here established for at least the plant room, terrarium. See if they can try and be able to build some things up for that. Still have some plays going on over on the far side as well here for Shaiko as he's wrapped himself around. Solotov will be the next big player to get a kill as he'll take down Renshi. Some shots back from Shaiko though as he pre-fires the soft wall, able to take him out. In some way, somehow, BDS are working, slowly filing down this round.
Shuttle ready for a peek to try and swing himself deeper into this site, but numbers are getting low from BDS. He needs something a little more than that. Some of them are more than prepared for it. The Magnets just snatching that nade right up and gobbling it in the process here. The rest of BDS ready to move themselves forward into the site. We'll continue to wait for that execute to come through, but as Nello and the rest of MNM sit on the other end of this one, more than ready for the challenge. BDS has just not been able to find the winner yet. Trying to do it through utility, and indeed, they do find it. Shaiko lands nade against Uzis. Is able to take him down, and a second as well. As we see a second member of MNM panic, rushing out into the open there, giving away another kill to our attackers, allowing them to control the pacing of this one now too, as we enter the final 25 seconds. A nice snapshot from Nath there, as he flicks over to Shaiko, shuts him down, but like a fact, restores the advantageous balance for BDS. Tyrant left alone here now inside of the 1v1, as he does manage to take out Bride. Case retrieved by like a fact. He can start the process of throwing it down, but indeed goes right for the repeat, something that Tyrant's more than ready for, as MNM respond and give us an even 1-1 scoreline.
They always have nades.
Yeah, I'm getting destroyed on this Mira.
Finally, a successful round here, and a little discussion about the nade plays coming in from BDS. And yes, indeed, Shaiko constantly able to line those up, it seems, against MNM. No real utility game around some of these pivotal positions for MNM, and those frag grenades constantly nipping them in the bud, so we'll see if they try and fix that up, and they will. The Jaeger coming through as well on top of the Wamai, try and soak up some more of that pressure coming through from those frags. We'll see if that assists them with their hold of the T room. Team BDS finally slipping up here. They were 8 rounds perfect as they dropped that last one.
So we have BDS beginning to set themselves up yet again. No repicks apparently needed just yet to make this work, so they're going to be having the correct lineup to play this one out. MNM, of course, I think just returning over towards their T-room hold now to try and make things a winner for them on this specific play. Soltov has spotted out a drone and is calling it out there. There we go. His teammate just having a little bit of trouble locating it or getting in position to knock it out, but they do eventually get the job done. Once again, just showing the strength that Solus brings to the table, that kind of reverse IQ. Spotting out all the attacker utility instead of what IQ does, spotting out all the defender's utility. And of course, putting that onto a very fast package, making Soltov a very dangerous roamer now, as we've been seeing pretty much every other team with access to Solus utilize as well.
Yeah, some incredible play from Doki, especially earlier today. So much presence on that op, not only in dealing a lot of damage to the drone game, but also constantly culling the opposition. See if Solotov can replicate any of that. Shaiko once again coming in onto the balcony. EFAC will begin over on the far side, working his way in. BDS getting a nice wrap on this top floor, building things up like we'd seen previously, starting over on the office side, getting some of their other players set up around things like terrace, as well as the shrine window and the balcony, then start working their way in just so BDS has some of those parameters built up in case things do go wrong.
As the swing comes in, BDS will start to try and line themselves up. The phone calls come out as well, so the drone's trying to spot those players now, but we'll see if this nade chuck is going to lead in anything. Nafe, thankfully having the ADS to support that. A little slow on the follow shots from him, so no real damage going out against BDS here, but as the nades roll forward, BDS still, man, not able to come out on top with these. You heard MNM talking about it there as we got their comms for a split second in the post round. They caught onto the nade usage, so that's why we're seeing the Wamai as well as the Jaeger combo come out so strong here, as it's just a direct counter to the slow roller from BDS. So no, poor rotation from Nell ends up dropping right into the face of Lycofak. Really gets away with that first kill. Loses the advantage pretty much instantaneously because of the trade. And we now go down to the 4v4. Lem's taking a little bit of heat from that one, so overall BDS gonna end up in a slightly worse spot because of that, but can easily make up for that deficit just by claiming another kill in clean fashion. They've got the back opening here to be able to access T-room also. So already a path forward to get their plant down onto the ground, and Bride has once again made things a bit better by placing himself into that position there. So the swing comes through now, full T-room control gain for the attackers as Lycofak swings forward to eliminate Nafe. Solotov, one of the last players standing, but it all ultimately falls to Uzis inside of the 1v3. He'll try to wrap back around, go for a little mini flank here. Too predictable, unfortunately, for BDS. Lycofag reads right into that one. Claims the round and the lead with it now as the team goes up 2-1.
Dominance from BDS on the offensive side. Yes, they lose Renshiro early, but the rest of the team able to quickly make work of MNM, get that plant down successfully in such a high man advantage situation. It'll make your head spin. BDS able to not only get that done with, but also get that big Solus kill down low that looked to prevent the plant. So once again, well struck from BDS. Shaiko 4-2 and 4. The rest of the team barely trailing behind him. Lycofag actually 4-2 and 1 as well on top of that. Not only that, but having to play around those Rotero drones quite often so far throughout this portion of Skyscraper. Going to end up throwing that on over to the Habana as they figured out what site it's going to be, which is going to be barbecue.
Yep, so new territory here as far as MNM is concerned. We've not seen them play into this one just yet. BDS, of course, finding their 2-for-2 executes against T-Room. MNM able to lock in the other site on the second floor aside from that. MNM more than likely going to be steering clear of T-Room, I would imagine, for the rest of this half, but could end up being surprised as of yet. Tyrant with a run-out position here. However, no one from BDS has spawned over there or is rotating into that one, so it'll be minimal success on this impact usage here. Let's see what else he could potentially rotate himself into in a few moments, as we're going to see Shaiko and at least one other member of BDS clear near him. That defender we were just talking about, of course, but it's not in the same partition of the map. Tyrant, though, as you can see, is still patiently waiting for any potential run-out opportunities that may present in the next few seconds. There it is.
Big gunfight. Tyrant will take down Lycofag. Habana off the board now. A little bit of a misread there from BDS as they really weren't aware of the rotation that was available to MNM on the balcony. Lem's going to work his way in via delivery. He'll breach things down to pantry here at a moment's notice, but probably just going to use that to kind of throw them off once they go for this rotation over towards the farther side. Has another one actually to deal with, so not going to be as cheeky of a play as he was building up to, as he has to dispatch both of those castle barricades before proceeding.
As we're cheered out. Slaps open, I believe that was the geisha window. He's positioning himself out towards to try and start to establish the top-down control that the team will need to burst out the remaining presence on the site. But Shiro indeed taking the challenge. Alani hops in towards the window, but bites off a little bit more than he can chew here. Wow, that's super unfortunate as well. BDS, I believe they try to double stack in through one of the doorways where there was an EDD placed on top of it, meaning that two players go down to one doorway set. Super unfortunate for BDS and has pretty much lost them the round now as Shaiko's left alone in front of a 1v5. MNM feeling very smart about that pickup of the cap can now, as it has been worth its weight in gold here to be able to shut down any capability of a BDS comeback here in the late round.
Will be a magic moment if Shaiko is able to get it done. Seems like he knows where one is, not able to get even the first. A flawless round here from MNM is they've been constantly pulling these out of their hat throughout this entire series. It started all on border, now here on to Skyscraper.
So second pickup here now is going to be back over into Exhibition for the hold from MNM. Like I said, already locking that one down, so they'll just make the return to it to try to guarantee 3-3 on the half by picking that one up. And then meanwhile, over on the attacking side for BDS, things continue to try and build up into a successful swing for them. And this has been, like we said, one of the few where they haven't been able to lock things down between this one and Barbecue. So BDS is going to have to change up their own style a little bit if they want to find that same degree of success, if they want to make sure they can work themselves into it. The Thatcher may be helping out with that. If you can try to disable out some of these utility mitigation pieces, such as the Omai discs that are going to be standing in the way of their nades, and overall, the rest of the pieces of their execute. Heartbreach is going to be a little bit troublesome for this round too, just because the Cade's being brought there by Uzis, so that will also stand in their way and could explain the Thatcher bring up from Renshiro.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Well, MNM now They're trying to toss things over to Office John, see what they can get done here. They've dropped the Jaeger that we saw previously, and funny enough, this was the site setup that we saw where the mirror windows were starting to have a lot of issues for MNM in some of the, bigger positions as the frag grenades were pouring in from Shaiko especially. So they've chosen to circumvent that yet again here. Go right around the Jaeger, end up just working the Wamai back in. So they do end up running into the same wall, then kind of be a joke on them, wouldn't it? Have to see what they can get done with this wall here. Looks like the Electro shuffle for Usus, but those Selmas are so quick, they can only get the second piece, and yes, indeed, they will have a breach through that to be able to at least hold the rotation.
There's no hop in just yet here for BDS. Still needs to try and open that up a little bit more here instead of risking themselves and just going directly for it. Selmas will be used this time to try and open up the actual main route here. Brede tries to put his drone over through the little hole there, but it is going to be muted out, so no success in that regard. Shaiko, though, pops the window and very quickly finds a target sitting behind it. Solitov, the first to go down on this round at the hands of Shaiko. From the MNM side of things, that'll be the Warden going down in the execute as well, so nades will have massive power from BDS as they no longer have that warrior to peer through it and strike back, but they still have map presence here to deploy out from it. Nello picking up the most recent kill. It was 2 found overall by MNM. 1 trade to equalize. This may have just been found by BDS. I'm not sure if they're aware of it. There we go. Getting the finalizer off onto Nave to down him. Either way, his rotation was cut off. He would not have been brought back anyway. Down into a 3v3 now as BDS, once again, keeps themselves in the fight.
We've been able to boil it down this far. 2 Nitro cells still reside in the pockets of the MNM members. EFAC could flirt with this, but still a minute remaining. Don't want to get too far ahead of themselves, and Nello can definitely deliver in this position. Not only with the shotgun, but also the SMG-11. Very dominant. Such a high rate of fire, hard to deal with. Tyrant. These nades pouring in on his location now. We'd seen this prior from Shaiko, but both of these nades will go wide. So don't have to worry about that any longer. Still have the smoke, though, for EFAC. They could break up some things. It's going to start breaking up one of the angles inside of the actual site. Gunfight here as Tyrant tries to swing into Shaiko, but he's on for the ace if he can get 2 more. Some damage coming in onto Usus' location deep inside of the office. Finally, though, EFAC will break it up. No ace for our boy Shaiko, but it will be a 4K for him as he shuts down the defense.
Ranchiro, yet again, pop it off here for BDS. It's Shaiko, the star of the show this time around here. So he shuts down everything. All challenges from the MNM defense here and gets us started even as well with the opening kill. Gives his teammates that little confidence boost that's needed to win out the rest of it. So 3-2 is now the scoreline heading into the final round of the half. MNM obviously able to put up a much better fight than we were seeing over on Kafe, but it still has left them slightly behind potentially if they cannot rebound here on this round and finally lock in a T-room defense as they will go for it for the 3rd time. Mind you, BDS has won this attack both previous attempts, so this will be a little bit of a risk from MNM to make a return to this site, even though generally speaking, this is the go-to for defenders.
Well, 15 seconds remain here for MNM to set up the remainder of this site. We'll be working the Jaeger back in, but not necessary, honestly. BDS been caught off guard here a couple times throughout this, but been able to stand guard now, get their round back under their belts and make this 3-2. MNM will have the opportunity to tie things up and keep it neck and neck going into the half. That's really what they're trying to get done, but it looks like it's going to be finally some aggressive plays to the outward area of the building. Looks like some of these balconies might be of the utmost importance, and it might be onto Shaiko to try and stop this from happening. They're going to wait for the swing here. Mute jammer through. Another drone out, but really it's only going to be the frag grenade that can get anything done for him. Another drone out, but can't get back over towards the wall. Alems will get taken down from Solitov inside of Geisha. Very impressive angle. Don't necessarily know how he got that done. The death here from Shaiko might be soon. They know they have somebody on the back end. Tyrant able to finally get it done. There's a moment in time to go for a play like that. It was now. BDS so comfortable in the way they've been taking this map. Try and work their way up Black Stairs as well. EFAC. Not a lot of damage onto him, but a lot of damage onto the opposition as Nafe almost dusted.
MNM putting their foot down right at the start of this one. And for BDS, based on previous play, it's not really going to leave them with a massive amount of room to come back into this one. like we said at the tail end of map number 1. Opening kills have been pretty definitive so far this series for determining the outcome of the rest of the round. We'll see if Lycofak and the rest of BDS can still make things work anyway. They made mincemeat of any attempts from MNM to make things work on map number 2. Certainly bringing themselves out of a few dastardly situations where it looked like they were going to be losing it for sure, so can't count them out entirely, even on rounds like this, as they take a slow approach to this so far. Just trying to play oh so carefully to lean into this execute, make little mistakes, a few mistakes that is, along the way here. Nello getting the catch on the cross from Geisha on Brede there. Lycofak still able to strike true though. Finds another equalizer before losing himself there to Tyrant, giving back the player advantage over towards MNM. Brede with at least enough room to justify the plant. Trying to throw it down on the ground. A little bit worried of a rush to come from T-Room, but that's a satisfying kill right there. Evens us out again. They have full intel on Renshiro's position. Brede, still a little bit of a mystery, but they should have at least a good idea as to where he would have gone for the plant. Tyrant, there we go. The winning angle found from him and the quad as well to end the round.
I think I've opened this gun,
Hey guys, come on, the attack. We got this, we got this.
Let's get the attacks now. Thatcher open, remember, Thatcher open. They're gonna play KD every single round. Like I shit, can't breathe in fucking Geisha in this shit, man.
All right, so round 2, or half 2, I guess, get queued up here now. Even keel between both teams, so really either team's game at this point. What a way to end it. Seeing as we've had 2 very different maps to show prior to this one. Now seeing the teams go to an even numbered scoreline is going to make this final half of play very interesting. Really giving us a true winner to decide who moves on and who, unfortunately, is going to have to end their journey at SI here.
Well, both of these teams laser focused. You heard MNM immediately talking about this half of play right after the win. Get the Thatcher in, start worrying about them electrifying things and trying to prevent these walls from being opened up. But the funny thing is BDS doesn't even have the Electro Claws in here, but still not a bad thing to cover for MNM because that's the last thing that you want to be lacking if that does end up rearing its head. So see if MNM want to keep that one in the mix going further. But for BDS's actual setup, it's going to be a little all over the place, not in the sense of a bad term, but everything kind of doing something a little bit different. You got the ability to slow down the drone play. You also have the throwable maintenance with Renshiro on the Wamai. Got some traps as well as just, smoke plant prevent here with Smoke working his way in. And finally Shaiko to kind of rebuff a lot of those positions, on the top floor. So BDS going to the toy chest and bringing out something of every shape and color.
And the repel work, I believe it started pretty early on here for MNM. They're gonna work their way up towards it. Meanwhile for BDS, we'll see them take a stalwart hold. Not trying to play too adventurously from the looks of things. Just looking to maintain their hold here at the start of the round and block out all of the trickier rotation points that MNM may be trying to snatch for themselves at the beginning of this round here. Lycofak, speaking of which, in one of those positions, already getting a challenge, set his direction over towards Dragon. Not able to immediately force the duel to come out, but we are going to see them as they work their way into it. Lycofak still able to maintain that presence. MNM does not feel enough confidence to fully swing forward here. They hold themselves back, waste out a little bit more of that time. Use this as well, continuing to kind of bait it down here. MNM certainly struggling to kind of justify this initial push, but that slowdown is not going to last too much longer as they quickly look to pop open the Geisha wall and give themselves access to that.
Balcony play here from MNM. As John was saying, they'll get that Geisha wall open, but the pressure hasn't imbued itself into their gameplay just yet. Shaiko trying to work his way around the box. Also has some nice angles going down into kitchen. If any of the MNM players want to try and go for key rotations downstairs, potentially some frag grenades they could use, but nothing happening just yet. Speaking of frag grenades, looks like Solotov wants to try and prime one. He's at the ready. Not going to find too much, though, as Shaiko's going to work his way around to a separate angle. They'll be able to seal up that window for now, and a fantastic delay so far here for BDS.
That goes in there. Actually deals a decent amount of damage to Nello as well, so good opportunity for BDS to slap that door shut nice and early on. Shaiko striking true here as he is able to find a confirmation onto Solotov. Nello's still in the fight, or at least we thought he was, but like a fact, steals him away. Bit of a tricky angle being played up from down below. Lems, big swing against Uses too as he tries to retake control of this round from the bottom of that main stairwell. Tyrant so far the only player to strike true from the MNM attack as Renshiro is knocked out, but even he now, Tyrant dead on the ground. Wow. And Shaiko just takes control for the final pickup as well. A statement hold from BDS to lock in the T room and preserve their lead heading into the second half.
Incredible control out of the world's most gifted player. Shaiko keeping that Russian SMG trained on the door to Drum, able to clean up that round.
So the next one, teed up here. We'll just rotate usually. BDS not going to throw us any curveballs this early on as they just go for the office hold on the other side of the map. No crazy flare for their operator picks either. The Azami play going to be obviously in check here for Shaiko. And the Mira setups will also come out from Brede just to try and make this clear from MNM as annoying as humanly possible. May force them into a bit more of an unorthodox route to try and work their way around that. Especially if they don't end up with enough utility here due to early picks or just missed operator selections to be able to work their way past the full setup from BDS. Repicks are going to come in as a result of not wanting to run into that circumstance. So the Ying will be added into the fold. Uses will take up the mantle on Hard Breach, and then the Nook is going to be played by Solotov to try and sneak his way in here, probably from the lower floor initially.
Marshmallows and Molotovs. Haven't been able to find a successful offensive round just yet here on Skyscraper, but early days. Learning a lot from that last round, looking to reinsert themselves onto a new site. BDS selecting the office site for their follow-up to what we saw prior on T. That's gonna also come with a few tidbits that MNM will have to work their way through. Some mute jammers and other things of the like. Love the mirror windows that we're seeing played into this as well. Jaeger here for Renshiro to try and make sure these positions are more playable. We'll see if that assists them with some of the nade play that could work its way in from MNM. But fortunately enough for Team BDS, not too many of those residing in the MNM camp. It's only going to be on Solotov for this round.
Solotov ready to make his first move. So he'll potentially try to hop things into Geisha. Indeed he will. Taking it further than this though, that's where the trouble starts. As BDS will begin to have a bit of a setup to respond to this inside of the depths of Drum there. Shaiko already respecting that challenge that had gone out. A Nitro thrown as well, a little bit early on that one though. Waited a few more seconds, we might have been able to see Solotov come out on top, but does not end up happening. Continue to see MNM clear out the map. Just a little bit more cautious though of those Nitros from below. Is there still another one potentially to be cooked up by Brede here? However, I believe he's playing a bit closer to the site, so not as much of a concern for the MNM attack.
No bullets landed inside of that engagement. Solotov able to secure the kill that he so desperately was looking for. Minute now resides for MNM to try and find something on this map. Looking for a foothold on this site. The case down in the map. Unlikely right on the outskirts of the building or something of the sort. Just trying to make sure it's readily available to any MNM player once the time comes. Gunfight here. EFAC will win it out. Shaiko there just in case things did go wrong, but wasn't necessary. It was good to have a partner in crime though. Works out well for BDS. Solotov with a nade here. Oh, and that nade could have sung if he was able to slip it through with the ADS right on the other side. So not really going to help them out. Renshiro with a nice shot here. Gets dislodged, takes the fight back, and he'll be able to take down Tyrant. MNM, they cannot get anything going in the building. Renshiro once again stepping up. Shaiko, BDS, flawless round.
BDS looking to lock things down here on their defensive half. No reason why they wouldn't be able to do so with the way things are played out. MNM realizes that this is getting rough. Timeout has been triggered as they're down 2 rounds. Let's take a listen.
Also rotate one Dragon if they're peeking away.
That's what we do. The thing is, we drone before we enter as well, and they should have drone bang 9 foot. That's why I tried going below. So I can't
Listen, It should be, listen, it's, no, like, wait, it's a kitchen now. They are expecting us to do default stuff. Do we want to like open gate shovel, try to flat side from everywhere below? We need to do something different. They're literally contesting hard default pushes all the time.
Yeah, we need to swap it up.
We need to swap it up. It's also, if you open side, then you're gonna zam it up and it's useless.
Come on, guys. Keep the guns up, you got this, okay? Play together. Correct this easily, okay? We fucking got this, guys.
We need 4 rounds in a row.
Let's go.
We need 400 rounds in a row. I'm not fucking losing. Let's open the gate shovel with ace and...
And so the pause will close out now. And we'll see the BDS roster still look to try and lock down these final 2 rounds. After MNM takes the pause, though, they're hopefully going to come back into this one with a renewed berth, a new strategy to try and win things up. We'll have to see if it leads into a successful amount of play, though. BDS, slight adjustment coming in for them now on their second play downstairs, as Lycofac is going to add the Frost into this one. Don't believe we've seen this one just as of yet out of them, so we'll take a closer look and see how exactly it's going to be utilized and how they'll try to trip up the entry game from MNM with it.
Well, you heard Nello talking about it. Really want to try and get Geisha here and influence the kitchen position. This is where the plant's home will more than likely reside later on in the round if they get that far. And that's been really the tail of the tape, hasn't it been, John? Trying to get that far. BDS constantly ahead of them from the defensive end. Big kills coming through from them, not afraid of the pressure. Not afraid to take these early gunfights and try and make it a decisive round in a minute and a half. You can see that already boiling over again here. MNM have to respect this, but the key thing past that is they can't be too gung-ho either. You don't want to see them burn their logic bombs or anything too important early on just to try and keep BDS barely at bay inside of the building. Try and build up that team play, work these portions of the map together. Use those logic bombs to force yourself even deeper. Make some of these gunfights and these discovery moments that much easier for you. Drone in, and we'll find out EFAC here on the top floor. And it'll be Shaiko that's standing in between them and Geisha.
And I'm starting to take some initial map control, mainly just Nave for the moment. Working his way in through the back door. We're going to take some control, just popping open a few of the castle barricades too, so his teammates have options to deploy elsewhere here on the first floor. Mainly just posturing though on the rappel. No sign of that Geisha take coming in just yet. They have spotted out, I believe, Renshiro over here on the office side. Never mind, it's going to be Lycofac spotted out there. Uses though, immediately executes onto Lycofac's position. Takes him down. Never even really got to salt any of his opponents, and no contributions coming in from him on this round.
Well done. This is going to be the first logic bomb down though. Shaiko can continue to fill up these gaps upstairs as zombies keep a barrier so good at sealing up these lines of sight. Past that first kill, not too much movement here from MNM. Still have some stuns out. Shaiko will seal up the window again. He gets fully stunned, but no active play here from MNM. Nobody trying to work their way actually into the building. I have some angles to worry about if he comes out from around this box, but he's aware of it. BDS trying to play it to its absolute limit right now. You can see MNM kind of lost for words. They don't know what the next step's going to be.
Shots out from Shaiko, but does not really yield big results here. The good news is he is holding the time away, and that's what's more important than anything at this point. Even though they are down 4v5, if they can continue to waste out the clock, MNM are not going to have enough time to properly situate themselves and clear out the 3 remaining players deeper out into the site here. Nades being dumped, not really in any position to force out movement from BDS. Might have just been to deal with deployables. Now down to 30 seconds and still no sign of that improving for MNM. Continuing to drone things out. Looks like they have a slight setup to make their play work. And finally, Shaiko is going to get dropped. So MNM may have the snowball to make this work. Renshiro to get one. Lems as well. Steals away another near Sushi Bar. We saw the trap work out up on top as well to down out another member of this attacking roster, leaving it all on to Uses now. Renshiro also down 2. Lems the Nitro Chuck with his opponents get back up. Neither goes down to it. Catches one on the rotate. The plant, we're just not going to see it in time. BDS wins it once more on the timer.
Now that right there is the LMs that we're used to seeing. BDS throwing me off, man. So much positive energy over here on this bench right now. Have to feel fantastic for this French squad. Lems and the rest of the gang having a ball here on Skyscraper. As for our other European squad, though, John, hot water right now. MNM back against the wall. Tournament hopes all hanging on one round. They have to find 3 in a row on the offensive side in order to force us to overtime. Now, here's the key factor. We heard the conversation going on here for MNM inside of that last little tack timeout there, and they did a lot of conversation about the ways that they wanted to take the map and the things that they wanted to do. Well, the key thing that they talked about was taking Geisha, which never happened. MNM was never able to dislodge Shaiko from that top floor. They try and go in through another set of means. Yes, they eventually do kill Shaiko and get it down into the 1 versus 2. But the entire early round, I mean, practically 2 minutes and 15 seconds dedicated to trying to fight for the top floor, fight for something, and they eventually just have to throw it at sight because they have nothing going for themselves. Fortunately, that almost works its way out because of the man advantage, but still, the round going the way of BDS off of Valem's efforts.
So BDS with 1 more round needed. MNM, like Stokes said, up against the wall, but up against potential elimination from the tournament, the biggest event of the year for the Siege ecosystem as well. So not wanting to give that up lightly as we continue to see the rappel work early on from MNM. They'll position themselves just on the outskirts. Solotov getting ready to potentially lean in a bit more aggressively here. Drone work as well, assisting him as he tries to take that little bit of early control. We are going to see Alem sit on the other side of this one. Spots out the drone, sees the push coming forward with that drone as well. Pops away the drone, but is not confident necessarily it is going to remain safe from this spot. Solotov as well, a little bit worried of a potential drop down from the church end of things, so paying attention to that. As neither player just has the right read on this situation, they'll kind of respectfully back away from each other. BDS able to waste up the time, of course, but I'm able to get a little bit of map control back there on the first floor. Oh, nicely done here. Lem's even going to spot the presence sensor. This is the benefit of bringing this operator into play. Any gadget utilizing the attacking side, even the Hell presence sensor there, it's going to get spotted out by the Solus. Immediately locks onto it. Potentially saves the life of his teammate there too, as Lycofact takes, I believe, a little bit of damage from Solotov. So very well timed on that play also from Lems.
Yeah, Solus is all about green energy. Takes out anybody using batteries and throwing them to waste. It's going to be Solotov here. Electric utility gun down, all due to Solotov. Rather, Lems on the Solus. A little solo dolo action between those two. You need to get Solotov on Solus, it really feels like here. But BDS so far, so dominant. Tyrant might have the moment, and he will. He'll get Renshiro, but the site upstairs only going to be able to prevent Renshiro from playing things out on more of a rotational basis. I don't know if he had the impacts to really try and play through the verticality there either, but not obviously going to matter all that much now.
Lycofact set up to continue to hold things here along with Brede on the top end of Barbecue Stairs. The shots not able to roll out to knock anyone down just yet from MNM, although Uzus is certainly going to find Shaiko, the first to fall now as the execute begins. The rest of the team actually trying to pinch this from below as well. Quite a bit of presence working its way in from downstairs. The only thing that BDS is working in their favor at this point is the time factor here. And Brede immediately going to deny Barbecue Stairs. Knocks that one out. Lems as well as Lycofact are found out afterwards though. And as Brede is forced down to the bottom of those stairs, he does not have much of a hope of denying this plant. Gonna make the run up for it. Obviously no Nitro to be seen here for him. Tries to go for the plant in there, but the ping is in the wrong position, unfortunately. Is not going to be able to spot out the planter. It goes down onto the ground. So this round pretty much secured at this point for MNM, unless Brede gives us a real treat to end the series.
Scary thing, though, is that 2 of these people are decently low. So Brede can get something, but oh, unfortunate. Oh, some shots missed from the Zofia. There it is, Tyrant. Very well done. Got a little worried there for just a split second. But he was worried about getting shot back. You can see how quickly he bounced back behind that shield there, John. But either way, MNM stave off elimination. Stay alive for 1 more round. You have to think about the amount of pressure on these guys' shoulders right now. Every one of these rounds has their fate in the balance. Exhibition room and office going to be next for BDS to try and find their only successful round needed to send MNM home.
Exhibition is, like Stokes said, the next one on the docket here for BDS. As obviously things don't work out on the inside of T-Room. They'll just move it right along. Not one to stay in one site. More than absolutely necessary here. So MNM will have to change up their own game plan. They already have the Ying being swapped in here onto Nello's POV now. And try and get that flash dump into the site to overwhelm the rest of the setup from BDS. The extension for BDS failing this time, not able to pick up as much defensive prowess as they were able to in the previous rounds. They're leaving the gates open for the rest of MNM's swing to come through, as BDS was hyper-focused on denying things towards the barbecue side. Just did not have enough of that presence properly positioned to stave off the push coming in from Geisha. 2 kills back-to-back allowed MNM in. And then that last member of BDS left on their lonesome, just not enough clutch capability there to end the rounds. Let's see if they can get things done on Office side instead.
It's a tall ask for MNM again here, but one that they will have to get done. Team BDS have looked so successful throughout these rounds, and these defenses definitely sharing a similar light, only losing 1 defense so far. MNM trying to make that even more so on top of all of this. Some solid positioning around the map here for BDS to support the defensive play. Got all kinds of flavors and layers here. Nitro cell out, that might be it actually. Over the top. Oh, it's actually gonna get stuck, I think.
Stuck on the windowsill.
Windowsill, indeed, John. Very unfortunate there for BDS.
No luck for BDS to send this series home so early on. MNM continues to survive, but can they thrive now? That's the big question on the rebound as they try to swing things back up to a 6-6 scoreline. And hopefully leave themselves in a better position to win out the rest of this map. MNM, a little bit of hesitance there. Actually end up backing away from that side hall window. They'll try to reposition themselves upstairs here now. Probably just leaving 1 behind to actually make the hop in and potentially try to position themselves a bit deeper to swing up the staircase once we get down to that pivotal execute point. Speaking of which, we may be reaching that a bit prematurely here. Bride, though, with the mirror window is going to make it quite difficult to use this for an outright swing. And you can tell that with MNM not really having anyone peeking into this whatsoever. All held back, waiting for the right call to come through. And then immediately, of course, Shaiko, he has got the reinforcements to throw back down onto that with the kunais.
Well, Tyrant 15-6 here for MNM. Really been the big player for them so far here on Skyscraper. Nobody really able to get anything past 5 kills. That's Uzis. He's the one bringing up the 2nd slot for MNM currently. Salt having a lot of trouble. In fact, right on the other end of this could be the rotation to end it all. Have the assistance from the house player here. Seems like they're aware, though. You see the yellow ping through the wall. They're aware of that flank player coming through, the likes of EFAC. But he's not going to move just yet. All this time delay. John, there's only 30 seconds remaining. MNM have got to get something going here.
MNM, at the moment, a little bit lost in terms of how to proceed forward. Like a lot of other teams at this event so far, kind of hoping that something comes their way, but has not ended up transpiring here so far. Shaiko, the shutdown 1, does get Shaiko into the open to trade him, but they lost theirs first. Nello also took some heat because Shaiko was ready for that 2nd fight. Now out comes the big play here. We still have 1 player downstairs delaying from lobby as well. The pinch against him, but where's the rest of your team? Somehow they're working their way onto the site. It's mass chaos all over the place, and MNM just cannot contain it. BDS lock in another victory for themselves as they survive not just once but twice today and move themselves 1 step further and 1 step closer to the grand finals of SI.
Well, that's one way to get some good sleep, ain't it, John? Amazing games from BDS today. 2 best-of-3 series, and it takes a full breath. All 6 maps for them today, but they get it done. They stay alive, and they're going to send MNM home.
MNM indeed, their journey ending here, trying their hardest but just not able to fit the pieces together on these more particular attacking sites for the final map. As well, a nice rebound on map number 1 kept them in this series to begin with, but just not able to contend on our 2nd map of Kafe. Not a single round picked up from it, the 0-7 loss, having to bring themselves back from the brink on that one. Just too much to ask for. And as such, their road to victory will end here. Their quest for the hammer closes out, and BDS will move onward.
What an amazing series between these two, man. Really, really good time. Hope you guys had fun as well. I gotta say it, really, really happy with how Renshiro played today. Not even past that, right? But also with the energy basis that he had. He was practically like an infinite well of energy for them. They could just always go back, dip a bucket, they're ready to go again. So it was amazing across the board from BDS. A lot of fun up against Marshmallows and Molotovs.
That'll do it for the two of us today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to throw you to a break. When we do come back, we'll have your analysis desk one final time to break these games down.